Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you. Ben and Woods, 97.3. The Fan, great to be here with you. And Frank in the chat, Baba Booey to you, too, my friend. He just put in the chat, Frank Peralta, 73. Baba Booey. Baba Booey to you, my beloved friends. Baba Booey to you. Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Good morning, sir.
Baba Booey to you.
Baba Booey. And Baba Benny is here as well, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, Benjamin Higgins. Good morning, Benny.
Good morning. Good to see you all.
Good to see you.
Just saw you a couple of days ago out at FanFest.
Yeah, I'd like to start a little bit there. We're going to get into FanFest, but I got to thank the Tier 1s that came by and said hello, because I'll tell you what, I needed it. I'm not going to lie to you. I needed it. I needed, as an insecure person who's kind of we're performers every day. You get some doubt that creeps in, and you're like, man, does anybody even like our show anymore? There's that weird feeling. It's been a rough start to the season, certainly, as we all know, and we've covered, ad nauseum. But to go out to FanFest, see so many happy people, and then have so many people come up and tell us how much they enjoy our show, listen to our show, how much we help them out in the morning. Bro, you guys have no idea how much that helped me. That day and beyond. So thank you for that. I hate that I am that way, but I am that way. I like to do this. I like to do this for you guys, and of course, working with my buddies here is great. But like to hear it from you guys that you still listen all the time. It just means the world to us, and it's just a nice reinforcement that we're on the right track. And are you happy with everything we say or do or don't do? No, you're not, and that's okay too. But I just wanted to thank you because I really needed it that day. I really did.
It was a pretty good day. I mean, yeah, it doesn't change any of the fundamental flaws and issues the team has, but I likened it to the old the New Orleans funeral procession, where everyone's kind of somberly walking along, and then all of a sudden the music kicks in, and everyone's dancing because you know what? Everyone got to Petco Park, and it really was a fairly festive occasion on Saturday, as FanFests almost always are. It was great to see the guys. It was great to see the Tier 1s and Padres fans getting together for the first time in 2025.
Yeah, somebody in the chat had just said earlier, they said, man, it was nice to go. It kind of helped shake off the ick a little bit. And I said, that's such a really good way to put it. It did. It helped shake off the ick. We talked about it on the broadcast, but driving down there that morning, on no planet at any time should we, or me, I'll just speak for myself, on no planet at any time, in any iteration of Padres baseball, should I feel that going to FanFest to broadcast for 2 hours is an obligation. And I'll be honest, I did. And I was like, man, I don't know what to expect. I mean, are people going to be walking by? Like, there's been some arrows slung and things like that. And you're like, what am I going to have to deal with today? I don't want to do this, man. This sucks. And it took all of about 30 seconds once I pulled into the parking lot to go, oh, yeah, okay, all right. The smile came, crept back on my face, walked in, chest held high, walked in and went, son of a bitch, look at this, man. Look at all these people. What's up, Woodsy? Hell yeah, let's go Padres. And I just went, this is what we were missing.
Just seeing the lines of everyone to get in, everyone in a good mood. As I walked in, I ran right into Don Orsillo.
Yep.
Everybody was clamoring to just get a moment of Don's time or attention as he walked in. And I just kind of went in his wake right into Petco Park with him. But, yeah, there was a lot of happy people at Petco Park on Saturday, and it was good to see.
Which, by the way, is okay. It's okay to be happy that baseball is coming back. It's okay to be happy that you love the San Diego Padres. I mean, it could be worse. You could be a Dallas Mavericks fan this morning. We will talk about the trade that shocked the world, and that's exactly what it did. We'll talk about that at some point today. But, yeah, Janine, who's the assassin. Janine, I got to meet my beloved Janine, who is just an assassin, and that's what I call her. Her husband, he has now named his Twitter. He's like it's like the assassin manager, because he manages the assassin that she is. And she says, it's amazing how much your mood changes when you walk into Petco. 1,000%. I mean, it really, really does. It's not like you're walking into the old Cleveland Indians stadium, the municipal stadium, where it's drab and dreary. You walk into Petco and you're like, all right, I'm back. I'm back. It felt so good.
It's like that show Severance. Like there's some sort of chip in your brain as soon as you cross the threshold.
Yeah.
You're just a different person as you walk into Petco Park.
I've tried that show. It hasn't
got there yet?
No. You know, I'm not much on sci-fi. And I've heard
I know.
I've heard it's beyond brilliant.
It's dark, though. You like dark.
I do like dark.
Dark.
I've heard it's beyond brilliant. And I watched the first episode. I fell asleep within 15 minutes. And I was waiting for it to get going. Now, there's no mafia killings or anything like that, so it might have turned me off. But I don't know. I've heard it's great. So I don't really understand your reference.
Fine. Some people out there got my reference to Severance.
More people than me. It's a very, very beloved show, and I just haven't gotten into it yet. But I would like to try again. Paul, have you watched Severance?
I have not. Heard good things?
I hear great things.
I'll give you the quick, $2 version. When you walk into your office, your outside personality disappears, and you only have your inside work memories.
Okay.
And then when you leave, you lose all your work memories, and you only have your outside memories.
Sounds phenomenal.
So Petco Park, like out here, yeah, what are they going to do about left field? What are they going to do about the starting rotation? We're worried about the ownership drama. You walk into Petco Park, you forget about all that. It's like, okay, we're back here with the fans. Look at all these great players we have.
Well, it's just like
we're in
that.
such a great mood. It's like Severance when you walk into Petco Park.
Here's the quick Google explanation. Mark leads a team of office workers whose memories have been surgically divided between their work and personal lives.
Okay.
When a mysterious colleague appears outside of work, it begins a journey to discover the truth about their jobs.
So, isn't that the dream to be able to leave?
Well,
leave work at work?
It would be as though I didn't know either. Once we left this building, I wouldn't know you if I ran
already
across
kinda
you
Under
in
the
the
act
street.
that
Yeah,
way.
you're already that way anyway. Yeah, so that's true. Benny and I.
Name 5 instances where you chose to sit with other people.
Oh, yeah.
Play golf with other people.
Yeah, 100%. It's a good point. He really is in that Severance mode. No, that's good. That's good. It's a really good point you make, Paulie. Benny and I went after FanFest. We skedaddled. I had to get to an appointment at 1:45, but had time to stop and get some lunch. And Benny recommended a place called Barrio Burger down in Barrio Logan. Man, I mean, what do you say about that place?
Good.
Spectacular. If you haven't been to Barrio, we did not.
It's new. It's only been open a month or so. So
It is unbelievable. He had a burger with avocado and pineapple on it.
and Al Pastor pork.
Al Pastor pork.
Oh, yeah.
I had bacon, cheese. They have their own homemade Thousand Island. I had onion rings, perfect size, not too big, not too stringy. Just like you could pop them in your mouth one at a time. Phenomenal. Ben had fries; they were delicious. I had a chocolate shake.
About 3 minutes from the ballpark.
How'd you gain all
there.
the weight? Well, I went to Barrio Burger with
How
Ben.
did you gain all the weight?
Yep, we had bacon, cheeseburgers, and stuff. It was really, really good. So just a little Ben and Woods recommendation for you. It was spectacular. It was really a great day.
Excuse me.
Yep, excuse me. It was really, it was really, really a great day. But yeah, lots to talk about today. It was a busy Saturday. I actually thought weekends you're supposed to unwind on the weekend.
Didn't really have a lot of time to unwind. You had even less. You had then a Seals game to get to on Saturday night.
Went to the Seals game. It was terrible. One of the worst I've ever been.
One of the better efforts. They were down 7-0 at halftime.
At halftime. And then the referee called every penalty that you could possibly call. We've had 3 5-minute majors. They have to review each one. They were scoring goals at the end. They have to review it dragged on forever. We lost. But then where it really broke down, Ben, was yesterday, where we had the first of Bo's, I'll call it 3 birthday parties. The first of 3. And what happens is your friends you have different friends in different buckets, right? You have your school friends, you got your baseball friends, you got your friends from this place or whatever. So we had birthday party number 1. It was at laser tag with about 12 kids. It's my own son, and I think I'm over birthday parties forever. Because there's one every weekend. He had 2 this weekend. I think what I'd like to do is you get all the parents together on January 1st, right? And you make a big, hey, when's his birthday? When's his? Great. Okay. Let's find a date that works for everyone. And let's have one big birthday palooza. Go to Disney. Let's blow it out. Let's go on a Disney cruise. I don't care. But then throughout the course of the year, you don't have to do the, hey, come down here for 3 hours. We're doing Costco pizza, and the kids are going to play in the park, and let's just do one. They did this in The Office. They tried to do this in the television show The Office because they were having too many birthday parties. Let's just do one big party for all of our kids. Let's go big. We'll go Disneyland, whatever. Let's go really, really big. But then you do something privately at home on the day of, and that knocks out all the parties for the year. Raise your hand if you think that's a good idea. I think it's a great idea.
Sure.
A great, great idea. Because I can't do this every weekend. I cannot go to birthday parties every weekend.
But the kids don't understand. But my birthday was 3 months ago, or my birthday isn't for another month. This is my birthday party now.
This is your birthday party.
We're not doing anything when we get to my birthday.
We'll do something privately at our home. We will celebrate privately at our home.
Try to explain that to a 6-year-old.
I'm telling you, man.
But I want my friends to all come over for my birthday.
They were at Disneyland. They were just there.
I don't think that's going to fly.
They were just at Disneyland. I mean, what are we doing here? 2 birthday parties a weekend for the rest of my life is not something I signed up for. I just didn't. And I can't. And it's gutting my soul a little bit. But happy birthday, Bo. We love you. It's on Thursday.
Well, yeah, like
Enjoy your 3 parties.
It was a busy weekend for everybody. I don't know how we're going to get to everything that transpired, but we'll try. We'll set the menu coming up next, and we'll definitely have plenty more from FanFest over the weekend. If you weren't there, we'll make it feel as though you were.
Correct.
And get you caught up on everything. First, though.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE0004666.
Welcome back to 7 Mile Casino in 2025. We've been telling you about our favorite card room in San Diego for almost 7 full years now because it is a spectacular spot. If you are a card player, Texas Hold'em, California-style blackjack, Pai Gow, or Baccarat, this is the one and only place in San Diego that you should be spending your time. It really is a phenomenal environment.
Well, there's a lot to love about 7 Mile Casino, as we've been telling you about for, as Ben said, 7 years. The food is fantastic. The people are fantastic. And, of course, the location, just 7 minutes from downtown. Cannot beat it. Pull right in, walk inside, California-style blackjack table waiting for you right when you walk in the door. That's my favorite game there.
But it's more than just a card room. They've got the full restaurant, Sammy's, wood-fired pizza inside 7 Mile with a full bar, TVs all over the place, a phenomenal patio that overlooks San Diego Bay, and it's open 24/7. They've got food all day long. There's special players menu. You can eat at 2 a.m. You can eat at 3 p.m. Whenever you're feeling hungry, it's a terrific spot to stop by. Have a meal, have a snack, have a drink, whatever.
Check it out for yourself. 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
Got FanFest, had another crazy Aztecs game at Viejas Arena on Saturday. Hey, it's Super Bowl week. Not that, we'd notice here in San Diego too much, but the rest of the sports world is descending on New Orleans right now to get ready for Super Bowl 59, Nolans. And yet somehow, Woods, the NBA stole all the headlines this weekend. So much so that when you were here this morning, you're actually listening to Dallas Sports Talk Radio just to get some reaction to what happened on Saturday night that was so unexpected. It even cost me to text my dad at like 9:40 p.m. long after he's usually like asleep. I'm thinking he needs to know about this. Everybody needs to know about this. Text my brother, text my dad. This can't possibly be real.
I texted you.
Yeah.
That's how weird it was. I got the notification in the middle of the fourth quarter.
9:12 p.m. on Saturday night.
Yeah, we were still in the fourth quarter of the Seals game. And the weirdest part is when I got it, I texted Ben and Paul, and Ben just wrote back, I'm speechless. And then, so usually on the way back from a Seals game, I listen to music. I pretty much listen to music all the time. So I usually put music on. I got in the car. And I put on 97.3 The Fan. And it was some local show, some guy named Jody. And I think
National show.
National show.
Jody Mack.
Local. Jody Mack. That's
Jody
it.
Mack.
I think, is he out of Boston?
Jody Mack. I don't know, but he talks like this.
Yeah, he's out there. So he's ripping phone calls.
He's been doing national weekends for
Quite a
ever.
while, yeah.
So he's taking calls, and I drive the whole 35 minutes home listening to calls. Like, I can't believe this, man. This is crazy, Jody. Explain this to me, Jody. And I'm like, what is happening to me? But I was interested. It's one of those that was so big that it even got the interest of me. And it's the more you read about it, the more you learn about it, the crazier it gets. It's absolutely one of the craziest things I've ever heard.
Think about being that guy, Jody Mack. I mean, I don't even know what his schedule is. Let's call it 7 to 10 on the West Coast, 10 to 1 a.m. on a Saturday night on the East Coast.
Yeah.
How many opportunities does he have to break news like that?
I mean, bro,
or react to breaking news?
He basically said I had to throw all of the college basketball stuff I had prepared out. That's all gone, and I'm going full. Luka trade, and it's a staggering one to be sure. It just shocked the world.
It was such an unexpected, head-scratching deal that Shams, who broke the news for ESPN, Shams Charania, literally got texts from everybody he knew, wondering, did you get hacked?
Did you get hacked?
Did you get hacked?
Yeah. No one believes it.
This can't possibly be true. Someone's hacked into your account. No, there's no chance you just posted about an Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic trade, right?
Right.
That just doesn't make sense for anybody out there who's a basketball fan.
Brian Windhorst said his phone almost exploded just with people texting him over and over and over. And yeah, man, it was nuts. And I got a couple of buddies that are Mavs fans. They're going through it right now. And it begs the question, and we can talk about it later when we break it down. It begs the question, is that the kind of trade that makes you not want to be a fan of the team anymore? Like, did the Dallas Mavericks lose fans? Because based on the people I talked to, the answer is yes. They said, I'm not rooting for them anymore.
Yeah, I have one buddy that's a Mavs fan too, and he's like, I have no interest in following this.
Correct.
Team, at least the rest of this year.
At least the rest of this year.
Could not care less whatever happens.
It's
it's
very
so funny
strange.
because the reason, at least according to the Mavs GM, Nico Harrison, the reason they made the trade was to try to win a championship now.
Right.
Usually the kind of move that every fan base clamors for. I want a move that helps us win a championship. Well, here it is. This is it. We think
that's just what a GM says when he trades a guy.
Well, that's why he did it. He felt like this was their best chance to win a championship now. They needed a two-way player, a guy who can play well on defense. It's not Luka. And they were willing to risk a generational star in order to chase a championship for the next couple of years while Anthony Davis is still, somewhat in his prime as a 31-year-old. But knowing the consequences could be you're giving up a top 5 NBA player for the next decade plus in Luka Doncic.
So, again, a GM can come out and say all he wants. this gives us, in our opinion, the best chance to win a championship in the next couple of years. That's just lip service. You traded away a franchise player.
The look on their head coach, Jason Kidd's face, who was sitting right next to the GM when he said all of that, tells everything.
That's one of those
he was just staring into the camera.
You just got to grin and bear it. Yeah. If you're him, you're
like, no idea.
I like this gig. I want to keep this gig. But yeah, the funny thing is that it took the principals by surprise. That's the thing, is that the principals did not know they were being dangled.
I mean, maybe the craziest, most insane trade in American sports history.
Yeah.
Over the weekend.
Yeah, they were doing that on the Jody Mack show. They were talking about, somebody called in and said, well, when Kareem went to the Lakers, but I think he was a free agent, wasn't he? Or he was traded in the offseason.
They traded him, but yeah.
It was in the offseason.
That was, 50-plus years ago.
This might be the craziest trade to ever happen. And for it to happen with no smoke anywhere. Zero. Nobody saw this coming. For those two GMs, Rob Pelinka and Nico Harrison, to get this deal done over the last, they said 3 to 4 weeks, and nobody knew about it.
Well, imagine
That's insane.
You're Rob Pelinka, and you're sitting in your office, and the phone rings, and it's the Dallas Mavericks GM, and he goes, "Hey, Luka's available." You don't even believe it, I think. A player of that kind, you just start panicking. You're like, oh, what can I give him? What can we do? You don't want to act too excited, but you also got to be like, oh, I don't know if he's the right fit. Let me get back to you. And behind the scenes, I would imagine you're screaming. I saw Laker fans. Tony Gwynn Jr. was like, I don't know how to feel about this trade. And I was like, I'd feel pretty good if I were you. I'd feel pretty good.
For the long-term future of the Lakers, it's, I think, absolutely a win.
Did you think you were going anywhere this year, Laker fans?
For right now, I mean, Luka and LeBron and no big man at all. I mean, no defense. I mean, the team right now is not a complete team. So the Lakers today are worse than they were yesterday. The Lakers for the next 10 years are in much better shape than they were a couple of days ago. Now, they could still make deals before the trade deadline at a big man. I would imagine LeBron and Luka can figure something out. I've heard a lot of takes going, well, there's only one basketball. They're not going to be able to get all the shots that they need.
It's not like LeBron's never played with superstar scorers before.
Plenty of shots during a 48-minute basketball game. Yeah. And if Austin Reeves loses a few or gets traded, which is, I think, a distinct possibility right now, there'll be plenty of shots for the two of them.
Did they trade this guy because he's chubby? Because
that's what everyone's saying.
That's what the Dallas Mavs GM said. They've made it known.
Concerned about his conditioning.
Conditioning questions.
Thank God Adam can't get rid of us because he's concerned about our conditioning. I got a trainer, Adam, so I'm doing the work. I'm baby stepping here, but guys, I'm coming in. I'm listening to your show. You're out of breath. You're wheezing. You're gone. You're out. Why are you letting me go? Our ratings are great. It's your conditioning. Your conditioning is terrible. You're done. Or you're out of here. You're going across the street. Like what? You're banishing us? What? Just because I'm a little bit out of shape? I'm working hard, man. Imagine that. And now if you're Luka, aren't you like, really? Okay, MF, here we go. Like you may see the best version of Luka Doncic in the next 5 years that you've ever seen. Maybe it is a wake-up call for him. But again, I think it's a conversation that needs to be had in Dallas before you trade him to Los Angeles.
I saw a lot of money has already moved to the Lakers to win the national championship or the National Basketball Association trophy. Like they're favorites now, I think, in some circles.
I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
Carlos says, Ben's out of breath phone call will be the death of you guys. Yeah. Hey, guys. Ben, you're out. Yep. You're out.
Conditioning.
We traded you. Darnay Trip starts on Monday. It's Darnay and Woods from now on.
Yeah, Darnay and Jake seem better conditioned, I would think.
They do. And you're in good shape now. You Peloton every day.
I do. I was worried that, the conditioning could be an issue. So
this is crazy.
Doubled my efforts.
It's crazy.
We'll talk more about the Blockbuster trade a little bit, but want to get into FanFest. What a great day. We got to catch up with Jake Cronenworth. We'll bring you that conversation and talk about Michael King's new contract that he got as well right at 10 o'clock on Friday morning. Thanks for the news drop just as we were getting off the air to start our weekend. We'll get to all of that coming up here on Ben and Woods.
Well, California sports fans, good news. Underdog available to play in our state. The best app for your big game party is actually on your phone, and it's called Underdog, the best place to cash in on all your takes. during the big game. Which players are going to go off, which ones are ice cold. Make your entries in just a few taps. Yeah, obviously the big game is one that you want to keep your eyes on. How will Patrick Mahomes do? Will he go higher or lower than a certain amount of yards, higher or lower than 1.5 touchdowns? But I don't know, man. Kind of fun to look at this new trade that went down and maybe look at some higher or lowers on those guys once they actually suit up for their new teams. Underdog, the only platform that puts the power to cash out in your hands. You can keep riding with your entry or tap the Win Now button to cash out whenever you want. They've got all of your favorite sports, all right? So you can piece multiple entries together with, I don't know, maybe a Lakers, a Mavs, whatever you want to do, plus the big game as well. So it's a lot of fun. Go in there, poke around. I've had a blast with it. Underdog, the best place to play pick 'em. Download the app, sign up with promo code WOODS. Deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code WOODS. Must be 18 and over, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms do apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Of course, Padres had their FanFest on Saturday, as did the Los Angeles Dodgers. And they're lucky they did it on Saturday, because if they had waited, Dodgers fans might have rioted to know they just let Jack Flaherty walk back to the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, I don't think they care much.
In shambles. In shambles. How does that fan base react to the news that their front office doesn't even care? Just letting they traded a bunch of, prospects to get Jack Flaherty, and then they just walked out the door. That tells me that the Dodgers are an organization that doesn't care about winning or their fans.
They're not serious about winning,
right?
Basically.
I mean, you don't just let a guy like that walk for nothing. That's crazy.
Poverty franchise, many are saying.
He did. If you missed it last night, Jack Flaherty agreed to, it's essentially a 1-year, $25 million deal to return to the Detroit Tigers.
It's a lot of scratch.
There's a second-year option that is $10 million.
That was linked to the Padres, by the way.
Right. But it's not a long-term deal. Again, there's no bad one-year deals, and they're not committing really anything beyond. There's a $10 million option that becomes $20 million if he has 22 starts or something. So he could be back, or he could be back on the open market next offseason as well. But it's a sign that Jack Flaherty's free agent interest was fairly soft, which is crazy considering how many teams need pitching and the other dollar figures that guys like Blake Snell and Corbin Burns were all getting, and then Jack Flaherty's going, what about me?
Well, maybe they don't want to sign a guy that his allegiance is to the team that doesn't want him. That's all he tweets about. I said it last week. I said, you asked, is he a fit for the Padres? I said, yeah, in a normal world he is. But when he's sitting at home crying that the Dodgers haven't re-signed him, I don't want him here. I don't want him winking at Mookie Betts going, don't worry, here comes a heater. I got you, bro. It happens, right? So, no, enjoy Detroit. Have fun. I good for him. A lot of money for Jack Flaherty. But, yeah, it's weird. Like, he wanted to be back with that team so badly. And again, it makes sense. They're a great team and treat their guys well. And but, they're letting some of those pieces from last year, Benny, walk away.
So we know,
but their fan fest was
I heard,
joke.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy.
I mean, they charged for fan
They
fest.
did, and the funds went to the fire relief or whatever. But that's nice. That's a nice thing to do. They've already given $100 million to the fire relief. Look, there was no good way you were going to be able to do a Dodgers fan fest unless you did like hey, we're going to be out here for 48 straight hours. Come and go as you please. I mean, obviously in L.A., you saw what happened on Shohei bobblehead nights. They had people lining up at 9 o'clock in the morning for a 6 o'clock game or whatever to get a Shohei bobblehead with his dog Decoy, and which interesting name, by the way, I've always thought. Very interesting name. His other dog, Patsy, and his other dog, Fall Guy. He's got 3 dogs now, Patsy, Fall Guy, and Decoy. But no, I mean...
his cat, Blackjack.
Yeah, exactly. And so... you see these lines, and they said people were just like, they were showing up and just cutting massive lines. I'm like, they're lucky it didn't turn into a bloodbath there at Chavez Ravine in the parking lot because they're doing massive reconstruction on Dodger Stadium. So it looked like a nightmare. A nightmare.
Heard you got a goldfish named Parlay as well.
Yeah, Parlay goldfish. Yep.
So I know a lot of people were at FanFest, but a lot of people also have busy Saturdays. You got your kids' sporting events, other things that you're doing, and you did not get to join us at FanFest or catch anything that we had going. We were live for 6 hours on the radio, 97.3 The Fan, all the shows out there, and we had some great interviews, so we wanted to bring back some of the content from FanFest on Saturday. And as we took the air at 10 o'clock, within about 5-6 minutes, guess who sat down with us at Section 113? He just got married. It was great to see Jake Cronenworth with us. And here's Ben Woods with the Padres, now second baseman of 2025, at least according to what everybody was saying. Jake Cronenworth. Jake Cronenworth of the San Diego Padres here at FanFest. Jake, welcome back. It's been a fun off season for you. Congratulations on the wedding, and it's good to see you. How you doing?
Doing great. Married guy now.
Did you get our gift?
This got lost in the mail.
It's not lost. It was shipped yesterday. We sent you a gift.
Okay.
All right, so you check with your wife. See, did I get something?
Okay.
We sent you. Should I just break this right?
Yeah, that's right.
It's a serving bowl, and it's from Ben and Woods. It was
Another
on
one.
You got the other one.
I have a lot of serving bowls.
So we thought, hey, man, we got to take care of one of our favorites. He's always been good to us.
So every time you serve something, we want you to think of
Okay.
Ben & Woods. In the
it
future.
better distinct itself from all the others.
Yeah,
So-
for real, for real.
Is it a custom Ben & Woods one?
No, it's not custom. But
no.
I'll give you a sticker to put on top of it if you really want to. If you want to class it up a little bit. But Jake Cronenworth joins us now. Your wedding looked amazing. I guess our invites did get lost in the mail for that. Honeymoon also looked amazing. Again, no invite there for the honeymoon, but it looked like a blast, man.
Yeah, lost in the mail.
Lost in the mail.
That's all right.
Was it awesome?
Yeah, it was incredible. Family, friends, man, it couldn't have gone any better.
Yeah.
Live band, dancing, and
Yeah.
a lot of fun. Did you have to learn like any dances or anything for your wedding? I know some couples like take
Not
classes.
really. We did not
Okay.
take any classes.
Okay.
You got off easy, bro.
No, it was good.
Did you? Were you? So you play baseball sometimes in front of 40,000
Yeah.
people. I would imagine be a little nerve-wracking. More nervous for a big game against the Dodgers or for your wedding?
I wasn't nervous at all for the wedding.
Really? Not
I was
at
more
all.
excited than anything.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
So
when you know you
that
got a
helped
good
a
one.
lot.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's when you know you got a good one, man.
Yeah.
So I always ask you this. I think at the beginning of every we getting into spring training in a couple of weeks. What has been kind of your focus? Outside of that, baseball wise, what's your focus in the off season?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is, this is going to be my 6th year, getting older, and it's just developing and continuing to grow. And as your body ages and you change and finding new ways to continue to get better, whether that's on the offensive side or the defensive side, changing your swing to make it more efficient and make it better so that throughout the course of the year you can remain more consistent and be a better player.
How much of a tinkerer are you with your swing? Do you tinker in season? Do you tinker mostly in the off season?
You're making adjustments constantly throughout the year. Just things are going differently. You're facing different teams. They're adjusting to you, so you have to adjust to them. But in the off season, you have that 4 or 5 month period of time that you can really go in every day and really work on changing things and making things more efficient, consistent, so that from spring training is a period to work and learn your new swing and see if it works right and make adjustments there. But from that opening day until the last game of the season, whenever that is, you want it to be the most consistent and efficient as you possibly can.
Jake, you've always been a guy, just whatever you need. First, second, short, just put me out there. Pitch, catch. No one's let you do that yet, but you keep asking.
This is the year. I got a good feeling. This is the year we see you tell the slam
But
again.
with Ha-Sung Kim moving on, looks like Xander plays short. Have you been told anything like, hey, get more ready at second, get more ready at first? What's kind of the off-season instructions for Jake Cronenworth heading into spring training?
I'll let Shildt get into that when you guys have him on, but I prepare the same way every offseason. I usually take a ton of ground balls like I'm playing second, but because I can always transition to first or wherever else they need me. But that's kind of the main focus, and just making sure that's always ready to go.
Do you prefer one over the other?
I think I've always preferred second just because that's where I've probably played the most.
But you don't have to move as much playing first. First is way better.
Well,
It's way more
we're lazy
fun.
people. We can't understand.
You run a lot at first
Well,
base.
and
Jake,
I noticed your, we talked about last year, your adjustment way more off the bag, and
Yep.
you snatched so many hits away from guys in that. Traditionally, though, is it easier on your body playing first? It's less. There's still thinking that goes in, but middle infield is.
Yeah, but I enjoy playing defense.
Yeah.
So, as we always talk about, there's always a way to win the game. You may not win it at the plate that night, but you can win it on defense or make a play that helps you win in the ninth or early in the game or turn to double play or whatever it may be. So I enjoy that aspect a lot.
Sure, 100%. Talking to Jake Cronenworth here, we talked to after the season. We talked to Shildt, and we've. You run out of stuff to talk about, so you start just kind of speculating and thinking about, man, you think back to last year and how it ended specifically. And we made the comparison in football, basketball, other sports where you're like, you know what? Our goal line defense needs to improve if we're going to win a Super Bowl. So we're just going to run it 1,000 times. With baseball, it's like this weird thing where just all of a sudden everything goes cold. Everybody goes cold. Everybody goes cold at the same time. You can't really even work on it in the offseason, right? It's just, again, it's the worst explanation, but that's what happens in baseball sometimes.
That's the game, and
Yeah.
that's why we come back every year and try and have the same goal for us to go to the World Series and hopefully win it. And that's, you work all in the offseason, you work in spring training, you play all those games leading up to that moment, And, when it doesn't work out, it sucks and it drives you more.
Yeah.
And you hopefully can get there one day, but that's always the ultimate goal. And I think that's what keeps everybody coming back every year, hungry, and as a team.
But it's like you can't run, like, hey, I'm just going to run the fade with this guy 100 times until we get it down.
Perfect.
Yeah, you played
You
hockey.
can't really
like,
perfect
You
baseball.
can't really perfect baseball, and that's the thing that makes fans, and I think, anybody watching, and you guys too, it's got to make you a little bit insane at times if you let it.
Yeah, I mean, because you're one hit away, you're one pitch away, and it's when that doesn't happen,
Oh, man.
it sucks.
It sucks.
I
No
did hear
question.
Shilt's working
Yeah.
on the tush push, though, just make it unstoppable this
I hope
year.
not, actually. That's not something I ever want to imagine.
So go back, to the end of the season, Game 5. I was there in the clubhouse, the visiting clubhouse that night. Somber affair, obviously. How long does it take? Like, as your days go by, I didn't see you after that, but what's like the process of emotionally recovering from a disappointing end like that?
Yeah, that one was hard. I mean, not just for me, but for the entire group, because we were so close. Not just not close where we were in the postseason, but close as a team. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the funnest years, if not the funnest I've had in a long time. The 22 is great, but this team was so close, and we battled and fought so much throughout the season, and everybody was a contributor. So I think that's what made it so hard. Don't watch the rest of the playoffs, and then when it's over and you get to Thanksgiving, it's kind of like, move on.
Yeah, so you didn't watch not
No.
a pitch. I don't know if I could or I couldn't. I don't think I'd be able.
cannot.
I don't think I'd be able to either.
So, obviously every team's different, but it's not like football where you're coming back with, a completely different set of groups, or college basketball or something. A lot of the same guys are coming back, same manager, same coaching staff, essentially. Can there be any carryover, as opposed to last year when, you had Shildt in for the first time and things had to be kind of built from scratch? Is it a little bit, you feel like a head start this year?
No, I think 100%. I think, as you guys seen, and a lot of the fans, like, there's been a lot of turnover in the last 5 years. New players, new coaching staff, and whether or not the manager stays, there's new coaches everywhere. And this is really the first year I've been here where the same coaching staff, the same group of players, outside of a few that aren't returning, but that's typical for every club.
Sure.
No, I think we found out who we were as a club last year, and we know what we need to do to win. And those guys that were there are coming back, and we still have an incredible team. We have an awesome coaching staff, incredible fans, and I think we're all just as excited or even more excited than we were going into spring last year.
And it's, look, I know you guys want to compete, and do you guys? I said it on the air yesterday, and maybe you can answer this question for us. But I saw you and Toddy and Arise walking through the infield and smiling, and I go, that little thing just gave me this shred. Baseball players are good at compartmentalizing, and I'm not worried about what LA did this offseason. They're always going to spend money. They're always going to add good pieces. Other teams as well. The division's going to be a bear. I mean, teams are improving, but I just, knowing the makeup of you guys, how excited are you guys to get out there and beat them?
Yeah, I think you see what other teams are doing, and we've been there in the past.
Sure.
In 22, 23, 21, like, we're always adding players, but the group we have is so close, and not just close, but they're really good players.
Yeah, very good.
I mean, from the whole infield's coming back, Jackson, Toddy, and the catchers, it's still a very, very good team.
Who's your last one for me? Because we're going to see him at spring training. We've already burned through all of our spring training material with him, and I don't.
We can have a fun show in spring training.
Yeah, we'll just talk about movies or something. I don't know. We have 3 weeks to come up with new material. Who is? And I was so happy to see Michael King, all that get resolved yesterday, because I just don't know if I can love watching a pitcher more. But when Joe's healthy, Michael King, Yu Darvish, who's your favorite to play defense behind?
I think they're all so unique in their own right, where you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
So it's fun every night when that guy takes the mound and you're behind him, especially with how much I love playing defense, to see how they operate and to see how they execute their game plan. And sometimes I'll sit on their meetings and listen to them, and they're all so different. Where Darvish is doing something completely different than King compared to Dylan. Dylan just wants to strike everybody out.
Yeah.
Joe's the guy who's going to, he could go 7 strong or
Gets
8
the ground
strong,
balls,
and he could be unhittable, or he could grind through 5 or 6, and he finds a different way to get there. No, it's exciting, and they know what they have that night, what they don't have that night, and the communication between us and them I mean, it's just a testament to the group and how close we are.
Yeah, 100%.
Before you go, Jake, I want to ask you about yesterday. Padres in the community.
Yeah.
Saw all the different events. What stood out to you? What was one of your favorite parts?
Yeah, that's always one of
yesterday?
my favorite days. This is great because we're at the stadium and it kind of gets you back in that mode. But yesterday, it's just, you go to a school or, they kind of split us up and you get to go to different places and, see different people. But to be able to go to a school and see the kids and how excited they are, and then to be able to go to, the fire station and, what those guys do for our city. And, they're telling us they're coming to opening day and they come to games throughout the year. It's cool because they show us love and support throughout the year. And to give that back to them, I think that means the most to us.
Well, Jake Cronenworth is one of the Padres here today at FanFest. Let's give him a big cheer. Looking forward to spring training. Jake, we'll see you out next month
Absolutely.
in
I
Peoria,
appreciate
Arizona.
you
But
guys.
have a fun time and
Enjoy your bowl.
enjoy your serving bowl. Serving bowl, courtesy of Ben
We'll
Owens
add it to the
and Paul.
10 others.
Yeah, perfect.
Listening back, we have a good rapport
Yeah, I
with
like
Jake,
Jakey,
which
man.
is nice.
Always
And
have.
that was crafted over several years. We got some news about Jake from AJ and Shildt as well later. We can talk about that first. Quick check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Good idea to leave extra time for travel. Got some very thick fog around a good part of the county this morning, and several accidents thrown into the mix. Northbound side of the 5, right before the 15. Collision involving a couple cars there in the center divide. Tow trucks rolling up to assist with that. Also a stalled big rig northbound 125 before the King Freeway. It's blocking one of the right lanes. Big problem in the North County, westbound 78. You can find all lanes blocked between Rancho Santa Fe and Sycamore, all due to a fatal collision involving a motorcycle. Rancho Santa Fe and Los Posos on-ramps to West 78 are blocked. And in the backup, an accident clearing up San Marcos Boulevard on-ramp to westbound 78. Also got a crash involving a motorcycle on southbound 15 past Rainbow Valley. That's being moved over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ed and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So Jake was reluctant to break any news before Shildt said anything, but Mike Shildt did confirm later that Jake Cronenworth is expected to be the starting second baseman for the Padres, and Xander Bogaerts will be the shortstop. He was told about a month ago that that's the plan for him in 2025. Xander at short, Jake at second. Those guys up the middle. And then I'd imagine Luis Ariz will play some first and some DH, and they have an option if they do add anyone to do it at first base, which usually is a position where it's easier to find people, although as Woods pointed out last week, I don't know where all these first basemen are that are so easy to find. Corner outfielders and first baseman.
Every year. It's all I hear. Oh, bro, it's corner outfield. You just go find one. You just go find a first baseman. Oh, okay. Why haven't we had one here since Adrian Gonzalez?
But that's the plan going into the season here.
Yeah. Well, all right. So Crony will play second. Ariz at first, you said, and then
Xander at short.
And then if Ariz DHs, he needs a day. That's the thing. The depth on the team right now is a little bit tested. And again, AJ Preller will play you his comments from later. He's still very much in the market for it. He said 2 bats and 2 arms.
Told
So,
fans
there you go.
directly. I mean, didn't talk to the media, but told fans directly.
Oh, he didn't do a media appearance?
He did not do a media appearance.
Ooh.
Just did the forum.
Just the forum.
And said, I need another bat or 2, need another starting pitcher or 2.
Okay.
And that's what they're working on. We'll come back, talk a little bit about the Aztecs' craziness on Saturday night as well. All coming up on The Fan. Welcome back. Hour number 2, Ben and Woods on a Monday morning. Happy February for everyone out there. Second month of 2025 is here, which means dry January is over.
Wet February is here.
And on Saturday, I was at the Regal Seagull in Leucadia. It was jammed, and everyone was going, why is it so crowded in here? And Patty, who's the bartender, goes, oh, it's because this is the first day of February. Dry January is over, and everybody immediately gets right back to drinking. They made it through the month, and they get to start drinking again on February 1st.
Out of all the months in the year that you should drink the most, it's January, period. January's the worst month of the year.
It's already the hardest one to get through.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why make it tougher on yourself? Yeah. I'm not a big drinker, but...
Dry September.
Yeah, absolutely. Dry September should be a thing.
Do something like that.
Well, you got baseball playoffs, potentially like the playoff races and things like that, but... I don't know, dry April. Who cares? Well, you got opening day. No, there's always a reason to have a couple
opening
beers.
days into March.
That's true.
Go hard. See,
dry July. Everyone even rhymes.
Everyone goes really hard over the holidays, and they need a reset is what they think at the start of the new year. Plus, it goes along with New Year's resolutions and such. But
I told you.
It's a long month.
It sucks, dude. I told you guys. Next year, I'd like to tell Adam, I'll work through Christmas, and I'm taking January off.
Keegan says January should be a chaser after December.
Yeah, 100%. I'll see you guys on February 1st, and just take the whole month of January off, and I'll work the whole month of December. I have no problem doing that if I got the whole month of January off, because January was a bitch this year. It just was. It was an absolute bitch. Straight up.
So on Saturday, we addressed it a little bit during our FanFest show, but I have to talk about the news that broke, literally, 10 a.m. on Friday. Just as we had said goodbye for the weekend, the Padres announced that they had come to contract terms with Michael King on a deal for 2025 with a mutual option for 2026. A very unusual structure for a player entering his final year of arbitration. We knew that Michael King had asked for $8.8 million in arbitration. The Padres had countered with $7.35, so they were $1.5 million apart. Started seeing some arbitration hearings this weekend. They start in February. I think a couple of guys have already lost against their teams in arbitration, but Padres, King, they did not want to go to arbitration, and they came to an agreement on a 1-year, $1 million contract. And I'm going, wait, what? $1 million? That doesn't make any sense. Well, it does when you hear all the fine points of the detail. There's a $3 million signing bonus, so Michael King gets $3 million right away, the $1 million salary, and then a $3.75 million buyout if he declines the mutual option for next year. So put that all together, plus $250,000 in incentives, and it comes out to $8 million, right? Between,
right in the middle.
Smack in the middle between what the Padres were offering and what Michael King was asking for in arbitration. But
good way to be creative. Good way to help out Michael King. I think you mentioned on Saturday
save some taxes on those bonuses, which get taxed at his legal residence in Florida and not in California. Only the $1 million gets taxed in California, so he gets a little extra take-home cash.
Good.
The Padres get a little early salary flexibility. Ultimately, they'll still have to pay Michael King his $8 million, less of course. Things don't go well this season and he gets traded, and it's possible then that could be, shifted off to another organization if that happens. I don't anticipate it. In fact, Michael King specifically said on Saturday at FanFest he would be, was his word shocked now if he was traded?
Yeah, shocked.
He would be shocked. Dylan Cease would not be shocked. He was like, hey, I hear all the rumors. I'm ready no matter what happens, but I'm getting ready to play with the San Diego Padres. Michael King now.
Instead he wants to stay here.
He said
Dylan Cease said he would like to stay here. And so is that just something you say when your name is being rumored? Dylan Thief wants to be a San Diego Padre, at least for this year. I mean, we all know who his agent is. We all know what he's going to ask for at the end of the year. I don't think he'll be a Padre long term. I really don't. If I had to put my hard-earned money on it,
I don't either.
I don't think he's going to be a Padre long term. Right? We all dream on it that someday somebody just says, you know what? It's just money, man. I'm just so happy here. I'll just do it for whatever. Like, it's just not going to happen, nor should it. There's other guys in the market that want want to make money, and you can't do that to them.
Again, you don't hire Scott Boras
Correct.
to do that deal.
Correct. You hire Ben Higgins to do it. You know what I mean? Ben Higgins would be great at that.
It seems pretty clear.
Negotiating a team-friendly
Yes, yeah.
San Diego hometown discount contract.
My new role.
Yes, you would be the best.
It does seem like if the Padres would like to extend, offer long-term contracts to guys like Michael King or Dylan Cease or even Jackson Merrill, they're going to have to find a way to clear out some money elsewhere. And Jim Bowden, the former GM for The Athletic, was on, I believe, the Foul Territory podcast, and he certainly brought up a way that it could be done. And in fact, he is hearing rumors that the Padres are discussing a potential way to save not just a little salary, but a big chunk of salary.
He's not the only one.
Here's what he had to say.
We could go for it, try to get a wild card berth. If it doesn't work, we can make trades at the trade deadline to retool. Or let's see if we can't get 6 or 7 prospects for 3 of our better players now and kind of start this rebuild now, because financially it's not going to get any better. They've also gone down the path of saying, hey, we'll trade one of our top prospects with Xander Bogaerts if you take Bogaerts' contract. So they're trying to find other ways also to reduce payroll to try to afford to do other things. But, they put themselves in a tough corner. And until the ownership either provides more resources or gets settled, I don't see the Padres' situation in the front office changing until that changes.
So what has only really been whispered in fan circles, I would say to this point, is kind of idle speculation. Jim Bowden is giving some actual legs to the notion that the Padres might package an Ethan Salas, for instance, with Xander Bogaerts to entice another team to potentially take on a large portion of the rest of his contract, because there's a chance that there was some buyer's remorse there. After Xander has had 2 not terrific seasons, do they want to go down long-term the road as Xander as their shortstop as he gets older, or do you bite the bullet and say, hey, if we can get him now while he's still young, has some good seasons left in him, and another team would take him, is this the sweetener that we need to pull off a deal?
Just as an aside, who walks into Sport Clips and says, give me the Lloyd Christmas? Jim Bowden does. Jim Bowden walks in and says, give me the Lloyd Christmas, and I'll give him my $17 and be on my way. I've heard, had someone reach out yesterday via DM, with the same information, essentially, that that is something that's being discussed back in Boston, even perhaps. Don't know how much weight to give it. Probably not a lot. I just don't see it happening necessarily. But I did also hear that Salas would be attached to that. Again, pure speculation at this point. A good source location-wise, but his source felt a little bit flimsy. But that's how these things go. You hear a lot of things. Now,
all right, put your GM hat on.
Okay, well, put your GM hat on after you put your conspiracy theory hat on. Who was not at FanFest on Saturday?
Chris Ello.
Chris Ello was not. Correct.
He was at a women's basketball game.
I think he walks in and says, give me the Lloyd Christmas, too. I'm pretty sure.
Ello has been traded to WEEI.
Xander Bogaerts was not there on Saturday.
That's right. I did not see him there.
And
on
Saturday. I did hear some grousing about it from some fans. I got some DMs about it. Like, it took $25 a year, and you don't make it out to FanFest when Merrill's there and Manny's there and Toddy's there and everybody.
Sam Levitt also wasn't there.
Stephen Kolek's there.
No Sam Levitt.
Sam Levitt, Chris Ello, Xander Bogaerts.
What were they all doing together?
It's a 3-team package, all going to Boston. Good morning, it's Sammy Levitt. And with that, the 2026 season comes to an end. Yeah, dude. I did see people. Look, the guy could have had something that he had to do. It happens. I've missed things. People miss things, right? But if you want to put your conspiracy theory hat on, yeah, there potentially. I just don't know. I know it's probably something that if you could get out from under a lot of the money, I think you'd have to look at.
And I see some people actually getting excited about that possibility. They say, yeah, I would give up Ethan Salas if someone would take on Xander's contract.
Sure,
they think
I've
the
heard
contract
that.
is that bad.
It's pretty bad.
And, maybe Ethan Salas doesn't pan out.
It's pretty bad for where the Padres are at right
now.
Correct.
But
think of how much more they could do.
I will tell you one thing that is 100%, I think, true. Trading Xander Bogaerts instantly makes this team worse.
In the
short term. Now, there's not much you can do to reallocate that money toward other free agents right now. Maybe in the future, yes, but right now, you could put it toward a Michael King extension, and I think that would be something that I would instantly pursue if some money was freed up.
Keep you competitive beyond 2025.
It does,
Correct.
but it doesn't help you at all in 2025. If this is a season where the Padres are trying to win and make the playoffs, they are much better off keeping Xander Bogaerts than trading him for future salary flexibility that doesn't do anything to help you in 2025.
Agreed, 100%. I mean, we went through it this morning, and I texted you guys that last night, what I'd heard, and you start to noodle it around. You said, okay, great. You get out from let's say you get out from half of that salary. I mean, it's a $280 million contract. Let's say you get out from 140. That's pretty good. That said, who is the control person right now? Who is that person going to then say, woo, extra 140. Let me go out and sink this back into the ball.
You'll need all of that to sign Michael King, probably.
Correct.
Yeah. Right now, today, it's Eric Katsenda, right?
So Jake says you can still make the 2025 playoffs without X. Okay, so we did this exercise this morning, and I thought it was a fruitful one. So do you go out and sign a Jose Iglesias to then play shortstop, and who's not going to cost you a lot of money, but he plugs the hole until you can figure it out long-term with Leo, who was also at FanFest, by the way, El Mutante, walking around FanFest.
Well, he was.
Yeah,
I didn't see him.
Hell yeah, he was. Playing with he's part of the future of this team.
I guess, what do you expect back if you were to trade Xander and Salas?
Cash and a prospect.
Just cash? Do you get anybody that's on the Major League roster that can maybe play first and then rise to second?
Depends on how much cash you save or not.
They have a Trevor Story that they would like to get rid of. Do you bad contract for bad contract? Do you worse contract for bad contract and do something like that? Potentially. I guess he's healthy going into this year. They're going to be riding with him at short. I don't know why they would want to bring back Xander Bogaerts other than sentimentality reasons. And who knows? Who knows? It's probably nothing. Let's be honest. I think Xander's going to be their opening day for the San Diego Padres, but I just don't know. I don't know what you do. But if that's on the it's very clear that there have been discussions about, and we heard it months ago. The Angels potentially as a landing spot for Xander Bogaerts feels like an Angels move that they would do. But yeah, I don't think they'll be able to move him. I do think he's your starting shortstop, and hopefully you get the best out of X this season.
Yeah, Don't Do This coming up next. But speaking of the future, looking into your own personal future, have you taken steps to take care of your family in case something happens to you? It really is not that hard. Woods and I both did during our holidays. We went to trustandwill.com, followed some very easy steps, and within 20 minutes or so, we had some estate documents that were going to be sent to us that spell out exactly what our wishes are and ways that can make things much easier on our family if something should happen to us.
Well, your kids are older. They're of age where they can take care of themselves. Mine are younger, and if something happened to Hannah and I, we passed away without a will. The courts, not our family, decides who's going to raise our children. That's a thought I did not want to think about. Even well-meaning relatives don't automatically gain custody. This process can drag on. I don't want that for them. Naming guardians in a will gives your children the love and stability they deserve, even in the worst-case scenario. So if you're thinking about that, driving into work this morning, I know I did, secure your assets, protect your loved ones today with Trust and Will. Get 10% off plus free shipping of your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com. Use the code San Diego at checkout. And Ben, congratulations. Taylor is all yours.
Thank you.
You're
Trust,
welcome.
by the way, you mentioned it many times, can help you avoid probate, a lot of costly fees if you do set up a trust to, big assets that can be, shared with your family and your next generations. We'll come back after a check of traffic with Don't Do This and more. Bennett Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Don't Do This is brought to you by Trust and Will. Don't leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die. Do set up a Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com. It's a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. We were just talking about Trust and Will. Woodsy, get us started with DDT.
I thought you were starting.
No, you're
today.
starting.
I'm starting.
You're starting.
I'm starting, then you're going to do the next two?
Yes.
All
I
right.
know. It's a very unusual structure.
It is. That's Monday. Is today Groundhog Day, by the way?
Yesterday was.
Yesterday was.
Yes.
What happened?
Unless
what happened?
Unless you're reliving the same day over again. Saw a shadow, 6 more weeks of winter.
Oh, bummer. Look outside, by the way.
Gorgeous.
We'll be fine.
Don't really ever.
We'll be okay.
I've never really felt like it applies to us in San Diego. What happens in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania is fairly irrelevant to the good folks of San Diego, California.
True. Very close to Baltimore, where 3 more women have come forward talking about Ravens kicker Justin Tucker and accusing him of sexually inappropriate behavior, including one woman who said that he stroked her inner thigh during a massage and left a treat for her on the table. Not a treat. And that's I don't know any other way to put it. A surprise.
An unwanted
surprise on the table there. In all, 9 massage therapists from 5 high-end spas and wellness centers have shared their accounts with the Baltimore Banner. One woman, a former employee of the luxury downtown Baltimore men's spa, the QG, produced what she said was an internal report of her experience with Tucker from, by the way, 2015, you guys. So she wrote this. It happened. He's the one, he touched her inner thigh, and she immediately left the room and wrote up a report that day. And it said in the report, quote, I understand that Justin Tucker is an important client to the QG, but as an employee of the QG who has tolerated the previous interactions with him, I no longer feel safe or comfortable working with him. She wrote in a 2015 letter. She has been identified as M to protect her privacy as one of 3 massage therapists from the QG accusing Tucker of inappropriate sexual behavior. Very similar to the other ones that they got. There were now 9 in total. Again, he denies everything. This is exactly what happened with Deshaun Watson. You know, once somebody comes forward, many people come out to give their accusations as well. It's a nasty situation.
Again, as I said last week, everybody deserves the presumption of innocence and the right to present their side of the story. However, logic tells me that, hey, if you are an athlete, you find a massage therapist that you like, and usually you stick with them. Now, occasionally, they move, you move on to another one. Why would anyone need to go to 9 or more different massage establishments unless there was something going on that made it untenable for them to return to the 8 previous ones that they had gone to? Unless he's the pickiest massage client of all time. Just didn't like exactly how they worked my lower back.
No, I don't think it was his lower back that they were focused on.
This doesn't make a lot of sense and doesn't look good for Justin Tucker.
It doesn't.
All right, I've got a much lighter-hearted DDT from the Lakers-Knicks game on Saturday night at Madison Square Garden, where Jon Stewart had to pay off a wager. Jon Stewart, who is a New York Giants fan, bet last month when the Eagles played the Giants with Jalen Brunson of the Knicks that the loser had to wear the other team's gear at a Knicks game. Well, Eagles beat the Giants. Maybe not a smart bet for Jon Stewart, and Jon Stewart had to attend the game wearing Eagles regalia, which, of course, they put him on the big screen at MSG, where Knicks fans were just
his face
merciless.
Dude,
and he
so funny.
He did the hang dog sad face. Like, what am I doing here in Eagles gear? It was actually it was pretty funny, but
that's a bad bet. Yeah, it's a bad bet. It's a bad bet.
Did he even get points on that one?
I don't know, but you have to go in there and do that. That's tough.
A team on its way to the Super Bowl and a team on its way to the cellar facing each other. He was set up for failure on this one, but led to a funny moment for everybody at Madison Square Garden on Saturday night. By the way, Lakers won the game 128-112. LeBron said afterwards, this was all just slightly pre-trade. Wasn't sure it was his last ever visit to Madison Square Garden. Could still come back. He had a really good game, triple-double.
He's going to drag this thing out for a few more years, isn't he?
But it also leads me to another moment from that same game that I'm giving a do-do this to.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
Now, What movie, Paulie, was this a callback to? You were mentioning it was so Amy Schumer was
What was the movie that she did?
at the game and sitting,
Trainwreck.
courtside when during one of the timeouts, the Knicks City dancers approached her and did the old "I'm pulling you out of your chair" thing, and she was look surprised, no, I don't want to come out there. Don't make me do this. But reluctantly, of course, they pull her out onto the court. And as you found out moments later, wasn't impromptu because Amy Schumer was hilarious. Nailed she knew the entire dance.
Oh, yeah.
Went up there with her, did the whole thing, slayed the whole crowd. They absolutely loved it, and she had a winning moment during the Knicks Lakers game on Saturday.
You've
night.
seen that movie, by the way?
I have not seen What is it?
Trainwreck.
Trainwreck.
You'd like it.
Okay.
He's a sports doctor, and there's sports figures in it.
I like that.
Bill Hader.
Is that the one that LeBron's in?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I have not seen that one.
Yeah, LeBron's in it. Who's he working on, Paulie?
Big Knicks. Amari Stoudemire.
Amari Stoudemire. Yeah, it's good, funny. I mean, it's laugh out loud. Funny.
It is good.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
crass. It's great. You like it. It's a lot of sports, a lot of basketball. So I know you.
I get plenty of crass.
You do get plenty of crass in here. You absolutely get
plenty of crass. I have no
shortage.
Of crass in my life.
That's true.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Well, it's mostly you, obviously, and that's don't and do this for a Monday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Still have more to get to from FanFest on Saturday. Talking a lot of Padres. Manny Machado
I love
had
his
some
comments. Yeah.
including his thoughts, just his personal opinions on the Roki Sasaki pursuit, and we can get into some of that coming up.
So good.
Also want to talk some basketball, obviously, Aztecs game, and the big trade on Saturday night that even had Woods listening to Dallas Sports Talk Radio over the weekend and this morning.
100%. 100%. All right, I will do this one here, guys. I want to talk to all of you out there with joint pain. If you have it, you know it. It doesn't get any better. It starts as a nuisance. You just put up with it. You wear it for a while. But then it starts to impact everything in your life, walking, climbing stairs, getting in and out of the car. Everything hurts. Talking about that always there joint pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, and back. There is good news. QC Kinetics. Been telling you about them for a long time. A very firm believer in their processes and their treatments. Get in there today by calling 619-614-PAIN. You'll get a free consultation. When you do, tens of thousands of QC Kinetics patients would tell you, don't wait. Make the call today. Talk to the local media professionals. They've got 2 locations for you, one in Torrey Hills, one in Hillcrest. I have not been to Hillcrest yet. Go to the Torrey Hills one. Anytime I need anything, these guys are great. They did treatments in my wrists and one in my knee, and I just don't know where I'd be without them. I really don't. PRP treatments can revitalize your joints without going under the knife. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Just give them a call. See if you're a fit for it. It works. 619-614-PAIN is their number. It's QC Kinetics at 619-614-PAIN.
Don't forget, the Slam Dunk in Vegas National Contest is your chance at the ultimate trip to Las Vegas. All you have to do is download the Odyssey app, log in, and listen to 97.3 The Fan for at least 1 hour to earn your daily entry into our national contest. The grand prize is travel and accommodations for a winner and 3 guests to Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's premium sports viewing destination, where you can watch the biggest March Hoops party at Stadium Swim. Plus, $20,000 cash as well. Don't forget that part. So again, listen at least an hour a day on the app to earn your daily entries. So on Saturday, the players who spoke to the media and fans at Padres FanFest did a good job of kind of smoothing out the rough edges of this offseason. To a man, they were optimistic. They were excited. You know, we talked to Jake. We heard from other players, Jackson Merrill, on the air when the Padres did their interactions with fans in their panels. Everyone was extremely like, "Hey, we got a great team coming back." They basically, towed the company line, as it were, which is fine. That's what I expected. The only guy who got a little off, maybe message, just a hair, was Manny Machado. And he spoke fairly candidly, even made some headlines nationally with his comments during the media session on Saturday. So wanted to play. We got Paulie's kind of narrowed it down to about the 4 best minutes of Manny Machado, but he addresses Roki Sasaki. He addresses the lack of moves during the offseason. Here is Manny Machado from Saturday's FanFest media session.
Getting ready for the season, I know you helped host Sasaki. How much have you paid attention to what's going on or not going on with the team?
Obviously, those are a lot of things that were, it's out of our control, right? We can't really control those things. He had the option to sign anywhere he wanted to, right? Obviously, we wanted it to be here, and he went a different direction. That's all right, But at the end of the day, we gotta. Look at the guys that we have in here. Are we disappointed we haven't made any moves? Yeah, I think, as a team, we kind of look up there and you're a little disappointed that, we let some of the guys that were a core group here, kind of go elsewhere. But at the end of the day, we can't control that, right? But we can control with the group of guys that we have here, and we're going to go and get ready for a long season. I think that doesn't change, right? Our goal is still our goal, and our goal is to win a championship and win a World Series. So, come spring training time, with the guys that we have in that clubhouse, we're going to go out there and we're going to battle.
Obviously, you're very close with the Sadler family. How much have you kind of paid attention to or been involved or in tune with what's going on with the upstairs? Yeah,
obviously, I'm a player at the end of the day, right? That's a lot of things that's out of my control. Obviously, Peter was very close to me, and I'm very close to the Sadler family and Shildt. So, it's something that you don't want to see as an organization, and hopefully things get resolved and we get back on track. And I think at the end of the day, our as a team, as an organization in the clubhouse, our vision that Peter left us, and when we had numerous conversations with Peter before I signed this long-term deal here, was to bring multiple championships to the city and be in the top of the league and having a productive team out there every single day. And it's kind of sad not to see it happening, but our goal is to go out there and perform, right? At the end of the day, we got to go out there and do our job and perform and perform in front of these fans that come out here and support us every single day. I think that's the most important part. And, all that other stuff will get resolved and get out of it, but that's out of our hands. It's out of our control. And, we just want to go out there and perform and play baseball at the highest level.
Lots made of what's not here right now, but what is here? Right? How much talent still is left in this game?
We still got a lot of guys coming back. Afar from Pro, Higgy, and a few other guys, we still got this core group, and guys are gonna have to step up, like guys stepped up last year, right? At the end of the day, we got to perform at the highest level. Our core guys, we got to do our part. But the guys that are gonna come in here and fill those voids, got to do their job, got to do their part. And I think we feel good about our team. The guys that are coming back. I mean, at the end of the day, I know AJ is going to go out there and he's going to put a very productive team out there and help us win and put the best team we can out there. I've trusted him, through this whole process. Trusted him before when I signed here, so I have trust in him to go out there and put some pieces together and help us be out there and be competitive. I mean, we're a few games away from winning it all and getting to where we wanted to get to, and we fell short, but. I think we have the talent, we have the group, and we have everything to make that possible. So, come spring training in a few weeks, we're gonna hit the ground rolling with the crew that we have, and I know we have faith in Shildt leading this pack.
So that's Manny Machado from Saturday. Manny is so matter of fact about everything. Yeah. He's the only one that, as far as I heard, used the word disappointed on Saturday.
Yes.
And that created a couple of national headlines. Manny Machado disappointed in the Padres offseason. But context is important. That was Manny just being Manny and blunt like he always is. If you listen to his comments, you wouldn't get the sense that Manny is extremely discontent. Manny is like, what's wrong with the direction of this organization? That was just Manny being matter of fact. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be? You're crazy if you're not a little disappointed that your team isn't, doing a little bit more in the offseason. But it didn't sound like Manny was overly concerned or panicked, which, the next time he's overly concerned or panicked will be the first time Manny gets overly concerned about something. So
real quick, here's just one more comment from Manny. Cut it off a little early there on accident. This is some of the comments that went pretty national.
Oh, about
his thoughts on Roki.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I was waiting for that.
Do you think the uncertainty with ownership, the future, do you think that affected your chances of Roki at all?
I don't think so. I think he had his mindset already where he was going. That's just my opinion.
So you thought he was going to LA all along?
Yeah.
Time for one or two more guys when you met him and posted him.
I I don't know, just a gut feeling, I guess I will say.
I love him.
There's Manny doing a solid for all the ownership infighting. And, had nothing to do with it all. Roki already knew where he was going. Joe was a little more diplomatic. He said, I don't know what Roki was thinking. I was there.
I guess I can't speculate. Manny's like, I'll speculate. He's going to
speculate the F out of this thing.
Yeah, you want me to speculate? No problem. I'll tell you right now what my speculation is. And then he was always going to L.A., which is, again, same thing that many have said. No way to prove it, no way to know. But again, it's water under the bridge, as they say at this point. So he's not there. They're going to move on. Baseball players are really, really good at just flushing it and moving on, especially that baseball player. I don't know too many baseball players that are better than turning the page than that guy. He is the example I use in my own home for. Does Manny ever look upset? No, he doesn't. He strikes out, BFD. He goes out and he tries to do better next time. If he boots one, who cares? He's made 1 million of them. He's going to make 1 million more. Don't sweat it. I tell my own children that. What a great example he is for flush it. So I loved that. That's what you expect from one of the leaders on your team. Certainly, and did not mince words, and nor does he have to. He doesn't have to mince words at all. He's not under any direction to pull any punches there. So I thought it was really well done.
We'll have more from Padres FanFest coming up in our 8 o'clock hour, including our conversation with Padres skipper Mike Shildt, who was looking hale and healthy.
He really hale,
H-A-L-E, hale and healthy.
I've never heard that.
It looked like he was in good spirits.
Vim and vigor.
Health. Yeah,
lots of vim and vigor.
Yeah, he absolutely looked good. But I do want to get into what happened later on Saturday. Another very stressful San Diego State basketball game.
Quickly, because I saw this too, and I wanted to parse this out for just a sec. Yeah. We have plenty of time. Ray says, I think the comment of ownership not talking to him yet about the direction was very telling. And I think I tend to agree with Ray. I do. I as much as Manny is kind of Manny and is going to say what he wants to do what he wants, a lot of organizations will run things by, to get opinions of, hey, in your opinion, what do we need, right? Or what do you think about this guy? What do you think about this? But the fact that they didn't talk to him and then he wakes up to the Jerks and Profar news just like the rest of us do, is a bit telling, because I think what it does, it just goes to show you what kind of unrest there is, what kind of murkiness there still is within the front office right now as they try to figure out who's calling the shots, when can they spend some money, and who can they spend some money on. I thought that was telling. Didn't you?
I don't know. I really don't. I mean, what would you say to Manny right now? I mean,
if I were, I think my point is, who would say it to Manny right now? Not so much what they would say, who would say it? John? Bob?
Eric?
AJ? Who would say it?
What would they say? I mean, would they say,
who would say it?
Hey, I know this has been a quiet offseason, but we're just being smart so we can gear up again and add more pieces in the future? Or are they going to go out and say, yeah, this is our new reality. We can't afford what we were doing? I don't know what they'd say. I have no idea. So, what are they saying or not saying to Manny? I don't have the answer to that question.
I don't either. And we don't have the answer on who it would be either at this point.
Correct.
We don't know, but they know. Things just don't stop. No, they don't stop. But I can't, Dub J, sit in here and go, oh, no, they absolutely have. They know exactly what's going on, and they have a direction. I don't feel it. Just based on covering the team as long as we have, based on how every other offseason has gone for A.J. Preller, I just don't see that. I wonder if A.J. even knows, hey, what can I do here? Like, what are my parameters here?
I do know that AJ's personality hasn't changed. He wants to be aggressive.
Correct.
He wants to win. We know that he does.
You don't just turn overnight really super conservative as far as the moves that you make. I just don't know. I don't know. But no, they're asking, was ownership around FanFest Saturday? No, they were not. They were not there. So I saw a lot of feedback about that as well. And I don't know. I don't know. I do know how it would have been received, I think. But again, I just don't know. It's so murky is the only word I can come up with. It's just so murky.
That they weren't seen anywhere, but I also wasn't expecting them to be seen.
I really wasn't either. This
particular year, with everything going on, I wasn't expecting.
I'll be curious. I mean, if John Seiler is approved as
it should be any day now,
person,
right? Like this week?
And they report, pitchers and catchers report in just over a week, next week. Will there be a media session like there has been in previous years with Peter Seidler,
there absolutely
with Eric
has to be.
Itsenda, with Ron Fowler, or will there not be? I don't know. There's no law that says it has to happen. There's no Major League Baseball bylaws that say, yeah, your owner has to stand at spring training and answer some questions.
There should be a bylaw.
It's what the Padres have done in the past, but there is absolutely no requirement.
There should be
to do so.
You have to, don't you?
You don't have to. You really don't. I think you should.
I think you should,
but you don't have to.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what's going to happen.
If you don't,
I think so.
Yeah,
I think it would.
But would it be any worse than getting up there and saying everything no one wants to hear?
Again, I said it last week. If you tell us, you be honest with us and hit me right here, buddy, right between the eyes, right? Just one shot, done. Instead of, I'm going to shoot you in the back of the leg and watch you bleed out.
I will say that
fans
are at least imagining the worst right now.
Yes.
The reality is probably
somewhere
not
in the middle.
bad.
It's probably somewhere in the middle.
As fans are imagining.
It usually
is. If you can soften that a little bit, it's probably worthwhile speaking to your fans at some point soon.
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right, we're going to check traffic.
He's been bursting at the seams to talk about this Aztecs game. I mean, he is like, every break, should we do the Aztecs here? Can we do the Aztecs here? Let's do it. I'm ready.
Waited an hour and 46 minutes.
You did really well.
To it right after.
And it's Aztecs and Lakers, so he's doubly bursting.
I don't know, if you keep talking, we're going to have to stretch this out for a couple of segments on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a number of trouble spots on our roads this morning, guys. 2-car collision on northbound 5 before Main and Division. They're in the center divide. Still clearing an accident out of the fast lane northbound 125 near Troy Street. Traveling on eastbound King Freeway before Euclid, we have reports of some trash debris in middle lanes. North County ride has not been an easy one. You're still going to find all lanes blocked. West 78 between Rancho Santa Fe and Sycamore for investigation of a fatal collision involving a motorcycle. Happened around 4:30 this morning. Still clearing an accident involving a motorcycle south 15 past Rainbow Valley, trying to get that out of the slow lane. Another crash up ahead, south 15 near Felicita. A couple vehicles involved. No details as to whether that's blocking lanes. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Don't forget, we got our biggest fan name, second week of the biggest fan contest. Our next name will be announced at 9 a.m. If you hear your name, you got 10 minutes to call us back to qualify for the night in the Odyssey Suite at an upcoming Padres game. You can register your name now at 973thefan.sd.com/biggestfan to get your name called in our contest. So the college basketball season is now about 3 months old, and yet we are still asking the question about the San Diego State Aztecs every single game. Are they a good team or are they not a good team?
Yeah.
And the answer is both. Every single game.
The answer is yes.
Both.
Yes.
Every single game they show flashes of being a bad team that looks like they have no coordination offensively, sloppy turnovers, missed free throws, forgetting to box out, dumb mistakes, fouling three-point shooters. And the kind of team that you go, they have no chance in March. This is not the team that is going to make any sort of run in the NCAA tournament. And then in the very same game, as they've done the last couple of times, they'll go on an 18-0 run, a 20-0 run, where the shots are falling, and they look like, yeah, the team that beat Houston, one of the best teams in the country in college basketball. And who knows, maybe they make it back to the Final Four coming up this year. Every single game, they contain these multitudes, and you just wonder, as the season goes on, can't we see more of the good team and less of the bad team? But every night, it's like
no.
It's a mixture of the both.
No, not going to give it to you. And I missed this whole friggin' game.
Correct.
I heard I missed a banger. I was working the Seals game on Saturday night, which was the opposite of a banger. It was maybe the worst game we've ever played. But I was watching you guys text back and forth, checking some highlights on my phone. I missed the last insane...
I don't think I've ever seen this before.
11 seconds or whatever it was.
So the Aztecs, once again, fall behind by 9 points in the second half at home against a team they should be beating.
What was the first half?
First half was kind of close. Aztecs, I think, were up like 4 at halftime. But they didn't play great, but they weren't. They were up at least.
Back and forth.
Because they've been very, very slow.
It was still a slow start.
But at one point,
and then it got even worse.
It was 51-40.
Yep.
Wyoming was winning. Up 11.
51-40 Wyoming.
Yes. And then it was a 9-point game with like 7 minutes to go. And the Aztecs were in trouble. This is another NCAA tournament hope-crushing loss if you lose at home. A quad 4 loss, the kind that you can't absorb on your resume if you want to make it to March Madness. And of course, once again, the Aztecs pull it out of the fire. They go on a 20-0 run to turn the 9-point deficit into an 11-point lead with 15 seconds left. Wyoming did not score for, 6 minutes and 30 seconds or whatever it was as the Aztecs make this frantic comeback to once again seemingly lock the game down. You're up 11 with 15 seconds left. I was at a game in the early 2000s when the Aztecs were up 10 against UNLV with 28 seconds left and lost. The Rebels tied it, forced overtime, and ended up winning in OT. I thought it was maybe the craziest college basketball comeback I had ever seen. Until
you went from on Saturday with the 11-point lead with 15 seconds left. You went from hey, just got to get the win to actually that's not terrible for your metrics.
Right,
an 11-point victory at home. What you should do,
probably what was expected.
Everyone's good, and then one of the craziest things I've ever seen in a basketball game happen.
So clearly, the Aztecs kind of thought, all right, this one is over with 15 seconds left. But the mistakes just came fast and furious. Fouling a 3-point shooter, yet again. Aztecs have done it more than I think any team in the country. So there's 3 free throws.
Make them miss them.
As the guy starts making, they didn't miss anything. Makes his first free throw or 2, I forget which one. And then Nick Boyd, while he's standing there just on the free throw rebounding on the block, says something not even like directly, just under his breath, and the ref just points at him and goes ejection, immediate ejection.
What's the word? Was it Crash Davis? What was it?
So apparently,
it
Dutch,
was so innocuous.
Dutch said something to the effect if he had been warned that if he said anything, even if it was minor, he was going to be thrown out. And he said something under his breath, and he got tossed. So the guy finishes, makes all 3. Makes both technical foul free throws, and Wyoming gets the ball back. They inbound it, and guess what? Immediately, the Aztecs foul the 3-point shooter again, and the guy makes 3 more. So in the span of 2 seconds, you've gone from 11 up to 3 up. 8 free throws in 2 seconds, and now it's a 1-possession game. All right, well, you need to take care of business. The Aztecs inbound it. They get fouled. They make one of 2 free throws. So they're up 4. It's a 2-possession game. Wyoming immediately makes a 3. So now, in a span of about 10 seconds, you've gone from 11 up to a 1-point game. But there's only like a couple of seconds left on the clock.
There's like 8/10.
They inbound to Kimo Ferrari. He's fouled with like less than a second to go. Makes the first one. Intentionally misses the second one. And there's no time to get off a shot, and the Aztecs win by 2 and survive in incredible fashion yet again. But
you want to feel like while it's not ideal, there is something to we're finding ways to win.
And that's what Dutch said.
It's true.
I don't care about the metrics, but they fell in 49th in the net rankings. Very, very much a bubble team. I mean, in comparison, UCSD, which is almost certainly not going to get an at-large bid, they're 51st in the net. So they're basically right there with UCSD at this point in the net rankings. There's not a lot of opportunity, just a couple of games like the Utah State game on the road and New Mexico to really increase your net rankings. I mean, maybe this week's game at Colorado State on Saturday, if they win that one, they could go up if it's impressive. But if they lose, they're definitely squarely on the bubble right now, and it's not a place you want to be heading as we get closer to March now that we're into February. Craziest thing, Paulie sent the text, though. Sitting right there at Viejas Arena, out of nowhere, Jimmy Butler is at the game. Jimmy Butler, who until this weekend was the biggest story in the NBA and now is completely forgotten after the Doncic and De'Aaron Fox trades. What is he doing at Viejas Arena?
He's a Poway guy.
That's what Dutch said.
He's like, I'm not going to be playing for the Heat. I might as well go check out the Aztecs.
San Diego Wave hat. We saw him at a Wave match last year.
Yep. So, Dutch said after the game, hey, I know, they're having trouble trading him. I'll take him. If
does he have any eligibility left?
They'll let him play for me. I'd happily take Jimmy Butler on my team. But he was there for that crazy, crazy game. The Aztecs do get the win, 63-61 over Wyoming. All right, we'll come back. Anyone catch the Grammys last night?
Of course.
Talk a little
got some thoughts.
Grammys and more when we return with Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we're halfway home on a Monday. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. There's still a lot to get to today. A lot from FanFest. A lot about this trade in Dallas. Just insane. You have something?
Yes, I do want to
Pointing your
add
finger
something.
at me. Go ahead.
I just want to throw it in while the music's still playing.
Yeah.
It was a really cool moment on Saturday when we were live at FanFest and our open music came up over the speakers and all the tier ones
started clapping,
getting excited. Everybody's in and started clapping. I got chills.
Yeah, it was great
when that was happening.
It was great. And if you watch the Grammys, you didn't really get a lot of guitars. The rock is, they just kind of push it to the side for the pop and the country. And that always bums me out because there were a lot of my favorite artists that were nominated for Grammys. And, great song of the year, best metal performance, best rock performance. Do they have like a back parking lot where they're like, all right, we're here, come here, grab your Grammy. Because it's just all, it's Beyonce and it's Chappell Roan and it's Billie Eilish. I mean, these are the biggest stars in the world. I kind of get it. But
so I'm looking, I got a list of all the winners.
I got them too.
Best rock performance was the Beatles.
The Beatles.
Now and Then.
Yes.
I must have missed that tour.
I missed that rock recording.
Which is weird. They used AI. I think we talked about it when that song came out. They used AI to help come out with a new Beatles song.
Yes.
And I'm like,
it's weird. But they beat Black Keys, Green Day, Idols, My Beloved, Pearl Jam, St. Vincent. And the same kind of thing happened in Best Rock Album. Now, they had the Black Crowes were up for their latest record, which is really good. Fontaines DC had the record of the year last year, as far as I'm concerned, in Romance, Green Day, Idols again, Pearl Jam, Jack White. And they gave it to the Rolling Stones with Hackney Diamonds. And I was like, oh, man, I do love the Rolling Stones, but I don't know. I mean, I would have loved to see some of these bands perform. They didn't. Best Alternative went to Flea, the song Flea by St. Vincent. Best Alternative Music Album went to St. Vincent again. But yeah, the rock and alternative is really just kind of like pick up your award in the back parking lot and then you can be on your way. Because they were focusing on pop music. Pop music rules the world now.
And country.
And country. Pop and country, and then, or puntry, where they just mix the two together.
Country, is that?
Yeah, that's what I call it. Or cop.
I mean, we're in a world where Beyonce is the number one country artist now.
It was pretty wild. Pretty wild
crazy
to see. But I did enjoy a lot of the performances, and it did give me a chance to see some of these artists for the first time.
Like Benson Boone.
Benson Boone, the Ryan Cohen clone.
Kid who looks like Ryan Cohen and did a forward flip off the piano.
He did.
Landed it, too.
He landed it. Looked pretty good doing it. It's not my jam. I'm a 49-year-old man. It's not made for me. But I really enjoyed Billie Eilish's performance. I think she could sing The Phone Book, and it would sound beautiful. She's incredible. She does dress like Blake Snell, which I find very interesting. She dresses just like Blake Snell. When she performs, she's having her LA hat on. She's a big Dodger fan. She's from LA. But obviously the theme of the night was for the, here's me and what are you wearing? I'm wearing Snellzilla is what I'm wearing tonight. Big oversized pants, big oversized shirt, gold chain. I'm in the Snellzilla collection.
Dodger hat.
Yeah, Dodger hat. Yeah, 100%. But my wife kind of likes some of these. I know Paulie's wife likes a lot of this too. So I was watching with an open mind, and I was really impressed. I really was with a lot of the performance. I love the Weeknd's performance. I thought he was incredible. He's always incredible. Billie Eilish was
because I was
beautiful.
like, where are they going with this?
Yeah,
they had like the CEO of the Grammys or the recording committee or whatever, and talking about how there was like a boycott by the Weeknd. He's never going to return to the Grammys, and so there's some changes. And then it was just like hey, look at all the great things we've done here at the Grammys. I'm like, what are you just like taking a victory lap here? And then the Weeknd comes back.
Yeah, it's pretty
and
sick.
Had a pretty cool performance.
So the other thing I noticed is that there's a cavalcade of larger, white, face-tatted men. It's a proliferation of larger, face-tatted, white men who are pop but also sing like Chris Stapleton. Teddy Swims being one of them. I saw he was on Stern last week. I went, I don't know who he is. I have no idea. Saw him perform. He's got a nice voice. But he sounds like Chris Stapleton who's singing like Post Malone and who's singing like Jelly Roll. There's just this whole this is like the thing. It's probably like when rock bands came out in the 70s. You're like, oh my God, look, there's this and this and this. And so it's all just kind of running into one. It's blending into one. So I enjoyed Sabrina Carpenter. I thought she was spectacular. I really did. I thought she was spectacular.
I really liked, obviously, the oldie stuff. But
you liked the
throwback...
Herbie Hancock.
Well,
I did as well.
But the duet with Bruno Mars, and Lady Gaga to help raise awareness and funds for Los Angeles fire relief when they sang California Dreamin' was really cool.
Lord, I got down on my knees, and I pretend to pray. Oh, the preacher like the crow.
It's beautiful.
He knows I'm gonna stay. California dreaming on such a winter's day.
Kendrick Lamar just cleaned up last night. Swept all 5 categories he was nominated
Gives
in.
him some momentum heading into the Super Bowl halftime
Right, yeah.
show
no
on
kidding.
Sunday.
Yeah, give him a little momentum. If you believe in momentum, then he's got it. I like Doechii a lot. I was really unfamiliar with Doechii. Her performance was great. Her speech made me tear up.
She's been up and coming for like a few years now, and a lot of people certainly recognized her and knew that she was about to blow up, and you're just kind of waiting for it to happen. It's happened over the last year. She had a really good album that came out. Her speech, her performance was awesome.
Amazing. I'm a generational hater, mostly of pop music. Generational. That said, I went into it with an open mind and was like, I'm not just going to, crap all over this. And I enjoyed a lot of it.
I don't listen to much Charlie XCX.
Right.
I just don't. But my God, her performance was unbelievable.
They're really brilliant performers.
And I don't think any of us are Chapel Roan people either, but her speech was one of the
really
more
great too.
Interesting ones, trying to do some good for the industry.
I told Hannah last night, I go, you want to talk about $1 billion idea? A label that actually says, once you're with us, you're with us. And we've got your health care and your benefits, just like you work at a normal, you're at a normal place of employment. If you get sick or something happens to you, we've got an insurance plan. We've got a 401k. Like, take care of your artists that are taking care of you, because the labels are nothing without the artists, and vice versa. The artist needs a platform, and I thought that was really well done and important to talk about. I mean, bro, you're talking about last year. A couple of my favorite musicians, Matthew Sweet, just an underrated singer-songwriter from the 90s. He has a stroke, and they got to do a GoFundMe for him as he recovers. And, that should never be. That should never be. I mean, that's his job. That's what he does. It's not a hobby. I don't expect the men's senior baseball league that I play in as a hobby on Sunday to take care of me financially, but that's a hobby. Right? This is not a hobby. This is these guys' career. And, having to do GoFundMes for these artists and musicians is brutal. It's so sad. So I really liked what she had to say. And look, I thought, music's in an interesting place, to be sure, especially country music, just in a really interesting place. But, man, the pop music train does not seem to be slowing down at all, with about 10 up-and-coming artists that are just going nuts. Friggin' Shabuzi. That guy, all night long, I'm just walking around the house, the earworm of the century. I'm walking around, my wife too.
Tipsy,
putting my kids down to bed, whistling it. I'm like, oh! He's been in my head for 12 straight hours, just singing Shabuzi.
Oh my, good Lord!
I'm dying, Paulie. I can't get it out of my head, which is, I guess, the mark of at least an effective
Here
song.
comes the two to the
Bring it to the phone.
Yeah,
I just put my kids down last night, just dancing around. It's just incredible. The elephant in the room, as Prolific says. Kanye and his wife, Bianca.
Oh my goodness!
I already told Mrs. Woods we found our Halloween costume.
Really?
For
She's willing to wear that get up?
You know what she said when I pitched it? She goes, well, that would be good motivation to really get in shape. I go, no, I'll be her and you be him.
Oh.
Which I thought you flip it.
Yeah.
I would definitely wear a sheer dress, just freak people in our neighborhood out.
No one wants to see that.
No, but it's good. It's good. It's good. KG says, I've heard at least 12 names. I have zero clue who they are. It's kind of how I felt last night as well watching, but I went into it with a more open mind.
I should have done a real or fake last week for new artist nominees at the Grammys.
Yeah, exactly.
Charlie XCX, real or fake? Benson Boone, real or fake?
I would have gotten some of these wrong. I would have. Benson Boone's the first I've ever heard of him. Apparently he had the most streamed song last year. I was like, I've never heard of this guy. Who is this guy? But that's kind of what the Grammys are fun for.
I'm 34, and the Grammys make me feel so old.
But
sometimes.
I'm bummed, man. Like, I'm really bummed that I didn't get to see Idols perform. They're such a great live band. I'm really bummed that I didn't get to see Pearl Jam perform. The Black Crowes, like, it's okay to have guitars and drums and rock music again. It's okay. Trust me, you're not going to lose a ton of audience if you have those bands up there. But they just push them to the side every single year, and it really breaks my heart.
Speaking of music, we've got Take on Woods coming up next. Had a Tier 1 come up during FanFest going, I can't believe
she
you
was
moved
so
it back.
mad.
Now, I don't get it on my ride to work. I love my Don't Do This Take on Woods combo.
I'm so sorry.
Got our new time slot here at 8:20, and your chance to qualify for a brand new monthly getaway to Vegas. I'll give you the details when we come back, but it involves Motley Crue.
Oh, yes.
833-288-0973. You want to be our first contestant of the month. 833-288-0973. And we have some fairly large and important breaking news from the NFL. I will get to that when we come back after a check of traffic. First, tell you about PrizePicks. One of the great things about PrizePicks, like last night, I got an email saying, hey, we got a free square offer for you. It was in basketball. It was Giannis, more or less than 1/2 of 1 point. Hey, put it in a lineup. So I did. I did it with a live lineup with Derek White of Boston, and I did more, and I quickly won $60. Like in 5 minutes, I won $60 with no sweat. You always have to keep your eye out for those free spots, including the free spot this week for the big game. That's right. You can pick Patrick Mahomes more or less than 1/2 of 1 passing yard, and just like I did last night, combine that with just one other player or up to 5 other players for a full 6-player lineup to try to win big with PrizePicks. You can win up to 1,000 times your money, and it's easy to play. It's easy to do. Over 10 million members have already started with billions of dollars in awarded winnings. To get started, here's what you need to do. Download the app at PrizePicks.com, and when you do, use the code KWFN to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup by using the code KWFN. Get your lineup in for the big game with all the players that you've got plenty of different options for this Sunday's matchup in New Orleans at PrizePicks. Must be present in certain states. Visit PrizePicks.com for details. Before we get to Take on Woods, breaking news from the NFL this morning from Myles Garrett, who just released a statement from the Cleveland Browns. He said, as a kid dreaming of the NFL, all I focused on was the ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl, and that goal fuels me today more than ever. My love for the community of Northeast Ohio and the incredible fan base of the Cleveland Browns has made this one of the toughest decisions of my life. These past 8 years have shaped me into the man I am today. While I've loved calling this city my home, my desire to win and compete on the biggest stage won't allow me to be complacent. The goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. It has always been to compete for and win a Super Bowl. With that in mind, this is in bold, I have requested to be traded from the Cleveland Browns. Signed, Myles Garrett.
Wondering why it took him 8 years to request a trade from the Cleveland Browns.
He certainly arguably best defensive player in the National Football League.
Yeah.
And there will be a lot of interest on the trade market. I would imagine there'll be some pushback in Cleveland as well, but I don't know that there's much they can do about it. I don't even have any speculation as to yet where he can land. My first thought of a team that could go after him that he would make a huge difference on would be the
Ravens.
Washington Commanders.
No, don't say the Ravens.
Well, yeah, but you can combine him with an affordable young quarterback, and you can spend a little more on your defense there, and turn your both sides of the ball into a potential Super Bowl contender. Would the Ravens use him really well? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're spending a ton on Lamar Jackson already.
One thing is clear. The Cleveland Browns GM needs to get back a haul for Myles Garrett. A haul.
Jake says, hello, Lions.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, they need to get back a haul. That's a big one. That's a big one. He's such a great player.
So that'll be a big topic this week from Super Bowl Media Day and everything as the contingent of NFL media lands in Nolans.
I was listening to Dallas Sports Radio this morning. They're live at Radio Row, and I just thought to myself, am I jealous? And then I thought, no, I'm not even a little.
I do still want to go to New Orleans sometimes.
We will.
But this is not the week. I
promise you. I'll take you there.
Do it. Thank you. All right. We got a contestant on the line. Let's do it. It is time to take on Woods. All right, we've got Josh on the line. Good morning, Josh. How are you?
Good morning. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, and we got a brand new prize here in February. See if you can be our first qualifier. Here is what you have in store, possibly. Motley Crue just announced a brand new Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM, March 28th to April 19th. And if you beat or tie Woods, you'll be qualified for a chance to win a trip to Vegas to see the show live, including 2 tickets to the show, plus a hotel stay at Park MGM. Nice place. I've been there. Get your tickets to Motley Crue, the Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM now at Ticketmaster.com. Josh, here are your categories to choose from today. We've got naming names. 5 songs that include the word name in the title. All About You. Those are 5 song titles that all end with the phrase about you. And our new category, the solar system. 5 musical answers that include a different planet in our solar system. Naming names, All About You, or the solar system. Josh, what would you like to play?
Let's go naming names.
Naming names. All right, today on Take on Woods, we're looking for 5 names. Specifically, the names of 5 songs that all include the word name in the title. You'll have 60 seconds. If you don't know an answer, you can pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question is our 2-second song. Polly's queuing it up now. You need to give me the song title and the artist to score that one, and we'll go on from there. You go first. Woods goes second. Beat or tie him. You're in the drawing for Vegas. Josh, are you ready to play?
Let's do it.
All right, Paul, you good to go?
I'm ready.
All right, the category again, naming names. Your 60 seconds begins when Paul plays the music for our 2-second song. Good luck, Josh. Let's take on Woods.
You Give Love a Bad Name, Motley Crue.
No, Bon Jovi. Eminem introduces himself as Slim Shady, in which lead track...
Hi, my name is.
Correct. The band America had its first hit in 1971 with which song about a journey across a barren desert?
Pass.
Beyonce and Destiny's Child had a number one hit in 1999 with
Say My Name.
Correct. Diana Ross and the Supremes went to number one in 1965 with which song? That's a playful take on a typical order from a police officer.
Pass.
The band America had its first hit in 1971 with which song about a journey across a barren desert?
Pass.
Diana Ross and the Supremes went to number one in 1965 with which song that's a playful take on a typical order from a police officer?
Stop in the Name of Love.
Wow.
Correct.
Give it to
right
him.
below, right under the wire, which means you got 3 out of 5. You Give Love a Bad Name, though, was Bon Jovi, so I can't give you that one. You got My Name Is. You got Say My Name and Stop in the Name of Love. A Horse with No Name. The chat is screaming on the America song. Been through the desert on a horse with no name. All right, stay on the line, Josh. We will bring Woods back in for the same 5 questions without the benefit of the category hint. Josh's score is locked in. Reset 60 seconds on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Josh.
You Give Love a Bad Name by Bon Jovi.
Correct. Eminem introduces himself as Slim Shady, in which lead track from his second album in 1999.
Isn't it? All right. I'll pass.
The band America had its first hit in 1971 with which song about a journey across a barren desert?
That's A Horse with No Name, and the Eminem song is My Name Is.
Correct. Beyonce and Destiny's Child had a number one hit in 19...
Say My Name.
Correct. Diana Ross and the Supremes went to number one in 1960...
Stop in the Name of Love.
Correct. And a 5-3 win for Woods to kick off the month of February. Have to wait for at least one more day to qualify someone for Motley Crue. Josh, thank you for playing. A well-played game. The category, naming names.
Am I insane, or did Motley Crue not retire? I thought it was over. Is it not over?
That sweet Vegas residency money has lured several bands out of at least semi-retirement.
I thought they were done. This is it. This is the farewell tour. This is it. We're not doing this again. All right, we'll come back for a little bit. Where are they playing? MGM?
Yeah, Park MGM.
Park MGM.
Yeah, good place.
Motley Crue. Okay. What
Are they all alive?
Yeah,
They
all
are.
alive.
They are.
I wouldn't say alive
and well, maybe not.
Shockingly.
I don't think Mick Mars is in the band anymore. He's like I think he's like bedridden. I mean, he's got some degenerative spine disease he's had forever. I don't think if they roll him out there, that's a huge problem with me. Like, let that man rest in peace at home. But Tommy, Nikki, and Vince. I don't know how Vince sounds. When I get high, how he on the song.
That would be Nikki Sixx.
Nikki Sixx, Mick Mars, Vince Neil, and Tommy Lee.
Now, it's just Wikipedia, so you
all right.
know, but Mick Mars is listed as a past member, not
okay. So he's
member.
out of the band. All
John
right.
5.
John 5.
Wow.
Nikki Sixx, Tommy
John
Lee,
5.
Vince Neil, and John 5.
All right. I don't know. I'm unfamiliar with John 5.
Once they get down to 1, it's over.
Vince, a little. I mean, I would go see him because it's Motley Crue.
Oh yeah.
But
I bet they still put on a great show.
It's very loud and like you got to cover up. You know, there's
Pyro,
explosions and stuff. Yeah, to take away from maybe how bad Vince sounds.
You need any extra funds for concert tickets? Woods can help you out here.
Yeah, well, you have to be a homeowner, Ben.
No,
certainly with loan. Be a homeowner right now, and you want to get some money out of your home's equity. Let Loan Pronto help you out with that. Their cash out refi. Really, if you're a homeowner, it makes perfect sense to do it. You don't want to go through another year with all your high interest debt. Let them wipe it out for you now. Their rapid equity loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards, tackle the 2025 home improvement project, or go to the Motley Crue show that you wanted to go to. You can get cash in your pockets fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven technology gets you approved and funded in as little as a day. They got low fixed rates, lightning fast transfers. You can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now at 619-207-4336 or go to loanpronto.com. But just go visit loanpronto.com or call 619-207-4336 to get the process started today. Free rate quote, no hard credit pull. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Could have had this band, Fontaine's DC, last night on the stage at the Grammys. But you went with Teddy Swims, and I guess I get it. But you could have had these guys up there shredding. It doesn't make any sense to me. They just omitted rock and roll from our life. It's very odd. They're the tastemakers. If they play it and say it's cool, then it's cool, right? Does that make sense? When you omit it entirely, it's kind of a bummer. Really sticks with me.
I see that.
You know?
Always feels like at FanFest, the rock stars obviously are the players.
Oh,
and
big time.
That did not change this past Saturday. Lots of eager fans who wanted to get a little time with Tatis, Machado, Cronenworth. Even Mike Shildt had a nice contingent as he made his way up to Section 113, where we were broadcasting live on
great.
Saturday. And, yeah, he looked healthy.
He did.
He had a good offseason.
He did. He really did. He looked healthy and confident. We talked about, what an extension can do for a manager who was basically managing on a one-year deal. Terrified after the collapse the year before and no culture. Everyone hated each other. And, the job he did last year was pretty remarkable. And for him to be able to come in and now, there's so much continuity coming back. We talked to him about that. And it was a great time talking with Shildt.
And because I know not everyone could join us on Saturday morning, had other things to do, we wanted to bring back our conversation with the skipper, Mike Shildt.
Can I get a big round of applause for the manager of the San Diego Padres, Mike Shildt, who joins us here on 97.3 The Fan. We are live in Section 113. Mike, it is great to see you. You're looking great. How has the offseason been treating you?
Offseason's been great. A nice balance between recuperating, having a little bit of catch-up on the personal life, but putting an eye towards 2025, and that's we're excited about it.
So I saw Jackson Merrill. He was out at fantasy camp. He wasn't playing, or he was getting his work in, and it's always nice to see. I saw him and Tyler Wade, and I asked Jackson, I said, how's your offseason been? And he goes, so boring. He's ready to get back. I mean, do you feel the same as the skipper? You've been around the game a lot longer than Jackson Merrill has. Do you still have that same enthusiasm to get back like he does?
Oh, absolutely. There was a little bit of a downtime right when the season ended that was, let's kind of decompress a little bit. But pretty soon after that, you get towards the holidays, it's like, all right.
Let's get back.
Let's ride.
So this is your first FanFest, right? Because last year got rained out.
Right.
And, what do you think, seeing all this, the passion for Padres fans that come out here, and this, just like the lines and everything, it's nuts.
It's outstanding. It's unbelievable. It really is. What an amazing group of fans we have. The support we get, it really is. It's it gives me goosebumps right now, and you talk about like the preparation, what that looks like. I can tell you, it's not that we need extra motivation, and I spent a lot of my off season in town in San Diego, considered to be home. And so, bought a house and all the good stuff here. And
congratulations.
I'm San Diego. And, but my point being is, I love our community, and I love getting the community, and I love the genuine passion and love for the Padres that is really real. So when you have a day where you're like, no, man, we got to get this done for everybody out here.
We were just talking about how we talked to you after you had your contract extension early in the offseason, and that can allow a guy to establish more roots, and that's kind of an important thing, getting that security where you can become a part of the community as well.
No, it really is. Listen, I've been really blessed to be in another organization for 18 years, and what I realized and studied successful, sustainable, winning cultures as a part of one, establishing a continuity with that here, and it really is just that. It's the continuity of an investment in the people. We brought our entire staff back effectively. Ruben, thankfully, has been extended. We match each other in our years together. Victor Rodriguez has been extended. So that continuity allows for us to be able to, and we're just getting started. Last year, our first year, we were getting after it, but we've got a lot of more meat on the bone, and us being together is only going to be able to grab that.
Well, and it's funny, too, because we had Jake Cronenworth on earlier. We're talking to the skipper, Mike Shildt, right now. We had Croney on, and Croney was talking about how since he started, he's like, it hasn't been real consistent. There's been a lot of churn, player-wise, coach-wise. It's something that he knows is important. You came in last year, helped establish a culture. Got to be a better feeling driving into Peoria, Arizona this year, knowing, all right, got a lot of these same guys back. The path continues to be the same. You've already kind of installed that. How do you reinforce it this year moving forward?
It's just a continual process. Our culture is something that we don't ever take for granted. we're always going to be intentional about. The good news is we have a really, we're starting to go deeper. Now we can go wider with what we're doing. The players are really on board. The players have had a winning offseason. You mentioned Croney. Our staff's been in contact with all of our players consistently. This past week, guys have come early to work out. We virtually had almost the entire team here the last several days. At Camp 44 that Joe puts on, which is a big hit for the group. But having the guys come out willingly and with good attitudes in their off season earlier to FanFest to get ready and to connect with each other says a lot.
So we've had some fans come by and ask, so I'll just ask you directly. Give us your starting rotation, your opening day starter, your lineup, who's going to bat lead off, who do you have batting cleanup this year? Just lay it all out for us right now.
I mean, let's go. Let's get this thing going.
If you didn't know, they've got some ideas for you as well.
Really? And you two,
not
have
at all.
nothing.
Not at all.
No opinions.
I already put Jackson. I got him in the third hole. I know that's a lot for a second-year player, but I got him moving up this year.
I think you're probably on to something. No, listen, I mean, we got a good nucleus coming back.
Yep.
Louie's been swinging the bat. He looks great.
Healthy.
Healthy.
Yeah, good.
A little stiffness, just what you would expect, but back, feeling good. What that guy did last year to win a batting title, and, he barely could have feeling in his thumb.
Yeah.
And he was just grinding out. We just had a bunch of warriors. But, yeah, I expect him to be towards the top of the lineup. And, Jackson's clearly going to have a good opportunity. And, good news is we got Toddy, we got Bogey, we got Manny, we got Croney. We signed Diaz back, which we're excited about. Campy's had a phenomenal offseason. So we're in a really good place. As far as rotation goes, Michael King looks fantastic. Darvish is Darvish. He looks great. Dylan Cease is in a really good spot, sporting a beard.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, he's got a good beard going.
Thicker hair, his big beard.
Good flow.
He looked good manning the fry station yesterday at Jack in the Box.
He did. He was working.
Yeah, they had Victor in the back making burgers. Yeah. That rotation, Vasquez had 20 starts for us last year. Let's don't forget that. Those are big
20 starts, really?
20 starts.
I didn't even realize that.
Think about it. Look, a consistent big league starter on a rotation is going to get 32 or 33.
Yeah.
Will you have guys like Adrian Morejon and Brian Hoeing maybe get a chance at spring training to stretch out? Are you going to look at options like that?
Yeah, I think we're going to stretch some guys out. I do expect Morejon really took a next step for us last year and has established himself to be a really nice bullpen piece for us. And I think that's a really good spot for him right now is to go dominate in the left side part of our bullpen. Bullpen continues to be a strength of ours. You got Suarez, the Caballo at the end. Morejon looks fantastic. Hoeing, beautiful, came in. Really an understated piece.
Big time.
That AJ was add to the club, get out of the 6, grab the 7. So I think that's more of a role for Brian. And then you've got Yuki. I think is going to really have a good year. Thing about Yuki, it's like, did he have? He actually had.
We were just talking about that.
We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, a couple bad outings, but pretty good year actually.
Homers, but like the second half, he had a 5% walk rate and a 34% strikeout rate.
Yeah,
gave up a few homers, but listen, they look straight. We had a good workout, so the bullpen. Jason Adam. Listen, nasty. What are you going to say about that guy? He's nasty, right? He's lefties, doesn't matter. So a lot of good pieces down there.
No question. Talking to skipper Mike Shildt. So it's not an uncommon situation for a guy in your position to go into the season and say, well, we lost some guys. It happens to every single team. But replacing a guy like Jurickson Profar, not just numbers, but what he brings to clubhouse, what he does to opposing teams, gets in their head. I really had fun having him back last year, but he certainly deserved the money he got in Atlanta. He's going to be a thorn, forever because that's just what he is. Is it a case for you where you ask other guys to maybe step up into that role, or does that just kind of come naturally to maybe some of the other leaders on the team?
I think it's a combination. Listen, we're not going to excuse this. It'd be foolish for me to be able to look people in the eye and say, we miss Bro.
Of course.
We miss Kimmy.
Yep.
We miss Higgy. Solano was a big part of our club last year. The reality is, especially in a more of a modern game, it's just hard to keep your whole full club together. We do have a nucleus. You just mentioned, 15, 18 names.
Yeah.
Guys have been back for that continuity. And they're going to be missed. I'm not going to kid you. Pro's an absolute killer. And,
straight up.
Love him to death and wish him the best and just didn't work out. But, to your ultimate question, yeah, it's a combination of things. You know, we know that the guys are going to have to carry the mail. They're ready. They're having a good offseason. They, expected themselves to do it. We expect them to do it. We'll do it together. And then, but just like last year, we didn't sit here at a fan fest, but we did have our opportunities to discuss things before the start of the season, and we didn't have a center fielder. We didn't have a left fielder. We ended up having 2 Silver Sluggers in the outfield and three All-Stars. We didn't have, a rounded out rotation. Ended up getting Dylan and having 200 innings for us. So guys just going to have to step up. I mentioned Vasquez, Waldron, and, who else? That's our job to help these guys take that next step.
I got about 15 more questions, but we got to save some for spring training.
Yeah.
When we see
See you
you
in a couple
later
weeks.
this month, we'll be out there. And I know you got something else to get to. All these fans want to say hi as well. So much. It's great to see you, and thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Skipper.
Appreciate
Mike
it.
Shildt,
Go
manager
Padres.
of the San Diego
Let's go.
Padres.
Come on, let's ride.
With us, he is ready to go.
There was a moment.
What
That was
that, by the
Mike.
way? Come on, let's ride.
There was that was Mike Shildt with us at FanFest on Saturday, and there was a moment that surprised both Woods and I during that interview, and I want to talk a little bit more about it. First, though, quick check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. Crash has cleared on northbound 5 near 8th Street, so speeds are getting back to normal there. It's been the North County that's been giving us the biggest headaches this morning, guys. Southbound 15 before the 76, there's a crash involving a couple vehicles. It's in the center divide. Also, southbound 15, right past West Bernardo, we have reports of a stalled vehicle kind of over to the right shoulder of the HOV lane. And yes, you're still going to find westbound lanes of the 78 closed between Rancho Santa Fe and Sycamore for investigation of a fatal accident involving a motorcycle. Happened around 4:30 this morning. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car, and it usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Skipper. Mike
Appreciate it.
Shildt,
Go
manager
Padres.
of the San Diego
Let's go.
Padres.
Come on, let's ride.
Let's ride.
New shirt.
Come on, let's ride.
Come on, let's ride. The new shirt, maybe we can do.
Not bad.
Not
Come on,
bad.
let's ride.
Trademark, courtesy of Ben Woods.
Quickly, be like Pat Riley and 3P.
Yep.
Get that one going. So when we're talking to Mike Shildt, you and I, Paulie, I mean, we know our Padres baseball pretty well. We talk about them for hours on end every single week, in season and off season. So I thought it was funny that both of us were surprised when Mike Shildt said just a very simple and easily checkable fact during the interview. That Randy Vasquez made 20 starts for the Padres last year, and neither of us thought, that didn't sound right. We both later we thought it was around 12. 12 sounded like the right number to us. And when I went back and looked it up, there's been a palpable feeling with Joe out for the year that the Padres' real weakness starting rotation this year, that a team that's going to rely on Matt Waldron and Randy Vasquez for 50-plus starts, just there's no way they could be a 90-plus win team. So I had to actually look it back. So last year's team won 93 games with Matt Waldron and Randy Vasquez making 46 starts last year. They made 46 starts last year.
Are we panicking for no reason?
I don't know. Are we?
I don't know. I mean, crap, dude. Like, you're absolutely right. 46.
That's not enough. That's
not nothing.
That's almost a third of your games last year were started by Matt Waldron or Randy Vasquez, and you won 93 games. I was just surprised. It surprised me.
Prolific the Great in the chat says, let's see, I said before, Vasquez will have a great year. Shildt just mentioned he had 20 starts. After July, opponents only scored 3 runs or less. Padres couldn't score a run when he pitched. Yeah, getting the run support is certainly key for guys like that at the back end of your rotation. Man, if they can go out and give you 5 strong innings and give up 3 runs or less and you can't score, that's a bummer. That's a bummer.
But if those guys can give you 5 to 6 decent innings, and I'm not talking about Michael King, shutout, 10 strikeouts. I'm talking, 2-3 runs in 5 innings.
Did we forget how baseball works all of a sudden? I feel like I did over the offseason.
With the bullpen the Padres have, which should be a pretty, good strength of the team. Yeah, they could rack up some wins
Brandon,
in that starting rotation.
Brandon with a good point. This year they'll need to start closer to 65. They were replaced in rotation in August, September by Darvish, Musgrove, and Perez. You will not have Joe coming back. You do not have Martin Perez, but you also haven't finished, allegedly, adding to your team. And A.J. Preller did mention in not the media appearance, because he did not do one, but he did the on-stage answering questions, that he would like to get a couple of more arms and a couple of more bats. So I'm going to hold AJ to that. The other stat he gave, as Curtis points out, the Yuki Matsui stat: 5% walk rate, 34% K rate in the second half. I feel like you're looking at it going, are we going to count on? It's just depth. It's depth. If Vasquez is your depth piece and Waldron are your depth pieces, I think you feel okay. The fact that they're going to be counted on in, I guess, a little bit more heavy of a role than they were last year, already counted on pretty heavily. Of course, it puts your haunches up a little bit, but maybe it's for no reason.
Shildt also breaking some news with us that really neither Adrian Morejon nor Brian Hoeing is expected to transition to the starting rotation.
I thought he said
he pretty much said he said he liked the role for both of them in the bullpen.
Did he not?
Even Hoeing, he said, no, I like where he was. Yeah, he said later, kind of added, no, I like where he is in the sixth inning. I like Adrian Morejon as our later inning left-handed option out of the bullpen. Nothing's set in stone, obviously, and you do have to sometimes pivot as things develop, people get hurt, but sounds like the plan going into spring training, at least, is both of those guys just stay right in the pen where they had good, successful seasons for the Padres. Don't mess with it. It ain't broke. Don't fix it. Is the philosophy right now for the Padres bullpen guys?
Yeah. If it ain't broke, I like that too. I think I agree with that 100%. You're not. It's so dire that you have to start looking at stretching Adrian Morejon out. I do like that after many years of trying to find where he's the best fit, he kind of found it last year, and I just don't think you mess with it, and he is a very valuable piece in that bullpen. Ben, you can honestly see him, if need be, pitching the eighth inning. You could see him getting huge outs. He has that kind of stuff, so I'm interested to see what Ruben does with him and what they're able to do with the guys in their bullpen. It is our only real area of depth on the San Diego Padres. Now, every year we go in saying what we think as far as, we'll be fine here, we'll be fine there. It sometimes doesn't work out that way, right? So at least you have a couple of guys, couple of options, and maybe a couple of guys even ready to make the jump, Ben, if somebody does go down. The Alberto Cruzes of the world.
I do think that you can never have too much depth in a bullpen. At the same time, I'd have to imagine A.J. Preller is listening. If teams are, searching for a strong arm, that Robert Suarez is still a potential trade candidate, knowing that he can opt out of his contract after this year, and he's got a fairly sizable $10 million on the books for this year, that is something that the Padres would absolutely listen to if they could get some sort of decent return for Robert Suarez, feeling like they have other options in their bullpen.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he would definitely be missed, but it does feel like a little bit of a luxury that you can't afford a position of depth that you could trade from. And, again, a decent amount of money to where maybe you could get somebody that could help in the rotation.
All right, 3 hours down. It's been a very quick-moving Monday morning here with Ben and Woods.
We still haven't gone deep into the Lakers news.
No, we haven't. We'll talk about that in our final hour. We've got our biggest fan, our first name of the week to read when we come back, and much more on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Still floored from the news late Saturday night that had all of the basketball world in a tizzy. No one saw it coming. No one saw it coming.
No.
We will get to a little talk, Lakers-Mavs trade, and some reaction. Luka's dad had some reaction to the trade. The sports world just stunned about what went down over the weekend. First, though, it is 9 o'clock. It is Monday morning, and it's time to start a new week of our biggest fan contest. If you hear your name called, 9 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 5:30 each day. You'll have 10 minutes to call us back at 833-288-0973 and qualify for our grand prize drawing. 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game later this year. Register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan so you could possibly hear it being called. But today's first biggest fan, this one's actually fairly easy. Ben Smith from Poway.
Sounds made up.
Ben Smith from Poway. Is that my alias?
Ben
Just
Smith.
Ben Smith.
I'm a Ben Smith.
You are a Ben
I'm a
Smith.
Ben Smith. Yeah. Like a word.
You craft?
Yeah.
You
I'm a Ben
craft your
Smith.
Ben over here?
I did.
The Ben Smith. All right, Ben, you've got 10 minutes to call us back, 833-288-0973. Good luck to you in our biggest fan contest. I guess what really surprised everybody, well, I mean, a lot of things surprised everybody, but the fact that there was no smoke.
Zero.
About the trade between the Mavs and the Lakers on Saturday.
There's more talk about if they're going to trade LeBron or not. Like, this came out of nowhere.
Now, when you got in this morning, everybody did this. So the trade gets announced, right? All right. And then all the baseball fans explain this to me in baseball terms. And you saw people weighing in. And I gave mine. Paulie gave his. And then Ben gave his. And I would like you mocked summarily for this take that you had. I think it's mockable. I think there's mockability to it.
What take?
Your take about if you were going to explain it in baseball terms.
Yeah.
What it would be like.
So I saw a lot of people asking what would be the equivalent.
Of course.
I said Juan Soto for Mookie Betts and maybe Teoscar Hernandez.
No.
So in this case, Luka is Juan Soto, premier 25-year-old offensive player, widely considered one of the best 3 or 4 in his sport. And then Mookie is more of the early 30s, very good all-star player.
Very good.
Who's won a championship.
Mookie Betts is a top 5 MVP candidate next year.
Correct.
Anthony Davis is not.
Won a championship. Anthony Davis is probably a top 5 MVP candidate this year. He's having an unbelievable season. He's peak Anthony Davis right now. They're not giving Luka away for nothing. Anthony's really, really good.
They're giving away 6 years of prime, though.
They are.
Essentially.
Which is why everyone's so stunned by it. But Anthony Davis is like one of the best players in basketball this year. That's why I said Mookie Betts would be he's not Juan Soto, he's older, but he's certainly a championship level player and someone who's playing really good right now.
26, 12, 4, 3. 26, 12, 3. As
He's having a great year.
Big man, good year.
I think it's
Great
more
year.
like it's more like trading Tatis for like
He's also
Stanton.
one of the best defensive players in the league. Plays both sides of the ball. Anthony Davis he's a fantastic player.
When he plays, they said he hasn't played over 60 games in.
Played 70 last year.
Did
no,
he?
that's true. No, he played 70 last year, and he's only missed a couple of games this year.
That's good.
He's been healthier the last couple of years. Now,
He's
every
hurt
big
right now,
man, he's
yeah.
hurt right now. So is Luka.
Yeah.
Both of them have had some injuries of late. But, in the chat, 80 is not elite. 80 is absolutely elite. Absolutely, he's elite. He's just way older and doesn't project. I don't think he's as good as Luka. He's way older, and he doesn't project as well going forward.
Stu Gotts from the Levitard show said, I've always said, if you're worried about one player's conditioning, trade for the much older superstar that's always injured. So good. There was some. There's obviously so much talk about this yesterday. Mavericks fans, there's some Mavs fans that are folding up the tents, so to speak, and said, I'm done. Luka was a guy that the entire city rallied around, a guy that you could believe in as far as the future goes. I listened to Dallas Sports Talk Radio this morning. They are flummoxed. They're not seeing they're not seeing your optimism through it. But the other guy, who's the other one that was traded?
Max Christie.
And you said he was like Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah,
that's
he's a
stretch,
3-and-D guy. He does kind of one or two things pretty well. Like Teoscar is a power hitter. He doesn't do a lot of other things. He's not a superstar, but has value to the team that is getting him and will help the Mavs this year as well as going forward in the future. I mean, there had to be a reason that the Mavs did this. But, again, what surprises me the most is that there was no smoke at all about what was going on. And I think the reason for it is that normally when you have trade talks and you hear someone's available, it behooves other teams out there to let it be known. Because if they're not going to land, let's say the Mavs, Nico Harrison, their GM, went to 3 teams and said, we're looking for a superstar, but we're willing to trade Doncic. Maybe call Milwaukee to talk about Giannis. Call the Lakers to talk about Anthony Davis. If you don't think you're getting him, it behooves you to then leak it to drive up the price for other teams.
He's out there.
So in this case, it seems very clear that they never talked to anybody else. It was simply a one-on-one conversation between Nico Harrison and Rob Pelinka about Luka for Anthony Davis and other pieces, and how do we make this work? There was no shopping. There was no driving up the price. None of that went on.
It's the very anti-baseball.
Now, I can see why the Lakers would do it. It's like, okay, yeah, we want Luka. We're not going to whisper a thing to anyone because the last thing we want to get into a bidding war for Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
You tell us what the price is, and we'll say yes or no.
Well, if you're the Lakers, I mean, going back to, again, the comps or whatever, like 80's out of the league in 5 years. Most likely.
Yep.
LeBron is out of the league in, 2 years. Like, you got the face of your franchise now for the next 10 plus years.
Crazy to
An
me.
international superstar, a top 3 player in the NBA.
So some of the tweets have just been all time. A guy by the name of Aaron tweets, a single first rounder for Luka. It means he must have been eating a rack of ribs and watching porn in the middle of every practice. He's just sitting on the sideline with his iPad sucking down ribs. Like, it's there's so many funny stories that like weave into this. Remember the video last year after the playoffs, before the finals? He was sitting there holding a beer, and the GM walks by and takes the beer out of his hand.
Yeah.
Like, no. Like, what? That's a grown ass man right there that's having a cocktail after they advance to the finals.
But remember, it's not like this is new. He's always been a heftier type player, and he's been one of the best players in basketball. He's being that way.
And the other theory, I guess, is why they did it, to avoid paying him the supermax that he would have been available for this summer.
Is it odd that the adjective supermax is only used to describe the most secure of prisons and the biggest of NBA contracts?
Yeah, supermax prison, supermax contract.
That's it.
That's how it feels probably to a team when you have to sign a guy to a supermax.
We talk about it all the time in sports. It's a cold business at times. My God, what a cold business move. I mean, that's like kicking a guy on his way out the door to find out that he lost up like $117 million.
Yeah, you can only sign for the extra bonus supermax when you stay with your own team and you're not traded. So he's no longer eligible for it. Now,
and he'll never get it.
But Luka's still going to make plenty.
He's going to make plenty of money.
Right.
Still $120
but this
million.
This is why I think his dad felt the betrayal. And his dad appeared on some sort of Slovenian podcast.
Slovenian Ben and Woods.
And expressed his shock and disappointment.
The translation said Luka absolutely doesn't deserve this. He played how many? 100 games last season, playing nearly 40 minutes per game. So to talk about Luka's conditioning after that, that's just unfair. And he called out a bunch of hypocrisy from the Mavs.
But I mean, again, it's not like he got moved to the worst team in basketball.
Oh, you're absolutely right. This isn't a death sentence for Luka Doncic.
No.
He's going to the Lakers. His brand is only going to explode.
They're going to embrace him.
Yeah.
Somebody said yesterday, too, it's so nice to see LA get a superstar. It's like, yeah. I mean, what? It
had been like a week.
Yeah, it's true. It had been like a week
superstar.
since the last superstar signed in LA. But, yeah, I mean, look, it's a great situation for him. And I was listening to Dallas Sports Talk Radio. And they got a show there called The Musers. It's been on forever. They're the best. I mean, they're just the gold standard for morning shows in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And Craig Miller is their host, and he's a very sarcastic guy. He goes, here's one thing I can tell you, Mavs fans. the Mavericks and Lakers will square off on February 25th. I believe is the date.
Yep.
He said, I will promise you one thing. Luka will score 100 points against our Mavs. He said, Luka is the most, and it's not the word sensitive. He's petty. He will take this and go, oh, really? You didn't want me? He goes, and I'll tell you, if he doesn't get to 100, he's going to get close. He's going to try. He said, a guy in the stands will yell something out at Luka. Luka will give him a look and be like, all right, watch this. Bang, 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 bang. Start racking in shots.
Jordan-esque.
Yeah, Jordan-esque. Like, oh, okay. All right. I took that personally. He takes things very personally.
And I had the thought, is it possible LeBron could bring more of that Luka out?
Oh, yeah.
In Los Angeles, given his competitiveness, the franchise of Kobe Bryant. No offense to Kyrie, but I'm not sure Kyrie was the guy to necessarily lift Luka to another level, but maybe the spotlight of L.A. I mean, there might be another gear.
There might be another gear
for Luka Doncic in Los Angeles.
By the way, guys, if your wife leaves you because you're fat, she says, I'm out. You're too fat. Do you think that you're going to get in the gym and be like, I'll show her? I see it all the time at the gym. You know exactly who's going through a divorce or separation. They're running on the treadmill with intent. They are lifting weights with intent and purpose. So you can rest assured Luka's like, chubby, huh? All right, watch this.
Wait until the off-season stories about his off-season workouts
regimen
with LeBron and everything.
Oh, dude.
Going to be very fascinating to see this moving forward.
But it was staggering. It was a staggering deal. And you, as a Laker fan, I think should be very happy, Ben.
I mean, I feel
you should be elated.
You should be elated.
It's almost unfair, like the cavalcade of stars that they get. I understand it. This is what it must feel like being a Dodger fan.
Yeah,
or
a Padres fan the last few years. It's the same.
Doesn't
We've had
really
it.
feel entirely fair, but I will take it. I'm not going to send him back. Happy to see Luka with the Lakers. I did see that someone tweeted he'll be a double-double machine in Los Angeles at In-N-Out.
At In-N-Out. That's a good one. All right. Well, they do have Whataburger in Texas.
In-N-Out tweeted right away.
They did.
At Luka.
I still don't know if that's an official In-N-Out.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
All right. Well, you know what? I've got a suggestion for Luka if he does need to drop a few pounds, maybe 10 to 20% of his body weight in just 60 days. By the time the playoffs start, Luka could be a whole new man. Thanks to SDFatLoss.com. You're much closer to the area. We can make this happen. Luka, if you'd like to drop a few, I did it. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days. I have kept the weight off a year and a half. Maybe Luka wants to take advantage of the Valentine's Day special. You're in L.A., take $200 off the program right now to lose up to a pound of fat per day. No injections or drugs. You don't have to worry about those drug tests. You'll be fine. There's none of that involved in the SDFatLoss program. It's just eating the right portions at the right times of foods you make yourself, stuff from the grocery store. I ate a lot of steak and chicken and vegetables as I was losing the weight. You can do it as well. We have all kinds of success stories both in our building with our tier ones. Me, Chris, and Scraby lost 117 pounds combined. John and Jess from down the hall at KSON lost 70 pounds combined. That's almost 200 in our building. I've heard about 100-pound stories from tier ones in the audience as well. It works. It absolutely works. Just sign up for your free consultation at SDFatLoss.com. Take advantage of the $200 off special this month for Valentine's Day and turn into a new you like I did. You can do it as well at SDFatLoss.com. That's SDFatLoss.com. And I'm sure you've had your fill of basketball talk. Thank you for indulging me a little bit this morning.
I mean,
it is a big story.
I was pretty indulged myself.
Yeah.
And it remains, it's going to be fun to watch how it plays out. And obviously that game on the 25th is must-see TV. I mean, did the NBA need something like this?
Yeah.
I think they absolutely did.
You know, the conspiracy theorists already coming out of the woodwork going, Adam Silver forced this trade to steal some headlines from Super Bowl week and jack up the regular season ratings, which have been lagging a little bit this year. All of a sudden, there's a big storyline in the month of February for the NBA.
It's about the biggest one maybe they've ever had. I mean, it is just the most massive trade, and wild how this goes down. People making me comp, too, of A.J. Preller seeing a trade like this go down and just frothing at the mouth to go out and make a trade. Hopefully we get a generational superstar back for an aged superstar.
Got a little more from FanFest coming up. Mike Shildt, some media comments as well. But did you hear what Fernando Tatis Jr. had to say? Something to the effect of he feels like if he can have a fully healthy season, that he could be the best player in all of baseball.
Sure.
Which is great.
Who doesn't think that about him?
It's Fernando Tatis Jr.
The Zips projections for the 2025 season tend to agree. They've released their top 10 players for 2025, and Tatis is number 5 on the list, projected for 6.3 WAR, which is tied for 4th with Bobby Witt Jr. and behind only Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, and Juan Soto.
Yeah.
So, he's right there. In that first group of top players in baseball, and that would go a long way toward answering some Padres lingering questions here if Tatis had a monster MVP type season that he himself believes he is capable of this year.
Yeah, I mean, for every team, health is just so paramount, and but really for the San Diego Padres, that's kind of the number one thing to look at, because the core is great, the core is fine, and you can ride with this core any day. Ben, think about some of the cores that you rode with back in the day, the early 2000s, right? Some of the cores you had to ride with then. Boy, you take these guys over almost any of those teams, but the depth is where we are severely lacking. That's going to be the number one thing to watch is health. If you went into the season if the season started today with what exactly you have, all right, yeah, we'll figure it out. We ride. We'll put a guy out in left field. We will manipulate the DH to give guys days off, and we'll figure it out. You feel okay going into the season.
Oh, it's Rod.
But if one guy goes down, if a Fernando goes down, a Xander goes down, you're toast. You're absolutely toast. You're gonna have to figure out a way. So, they need to get.
Fernando went down last year. They didn't have anything to replace him.
No, they had Bryce Johnson, but
and they weren't toast.
But they had Jerks and Profar, and you don't have that now.
That's true.
You had Jerks and Profar. You had Ha-Sung Kim. You had Higgy that was giving you 20 pops last year. So I don't know. But again, they need to get deeper, and really, they still need to find, some starting. There's holes in the starting pitching rotation and holes in the starting lineup that you need to fill.
We also had more comments from Mike Shildt after he met with us. He went right down to meet with the rest of the San Diego media and dropped a little bit more news about Xander Bogaerts and more. Here's Mike Shildt.
Bogaerts short. What was that decision? What are your expectations?
The good news is, as we all know, we have a lot of shortstops. And so, once it was, it looked like that Kimmy was not going to be able to come back. Of course, he was, coming off the surgery anyway. And Bogey being able to finish last year at shortstop, and then be able to get into the off season, and, it's maybe more of a question for AJ. But once we realized that the way the team was getting built, looked like that, it was an opportunity for Bogey to play short. So had a great conversation with Bogey probably a month ago with AJ, and, he had already had his head around wanting and been training to go back and play shortstop, very enthusiastic about it. So it was a combination of things, which in turn got Croney over to second base, and he's in a good headspace with that as well.
You mentioned Orion when talking about the relievers. Is that how he's going to start the year?
It is, yeah. There are thoughts, and there are some guys that we are looking to stretch out. We're still finalizing that with them and getting their progressions going with that. So I won't get into too great a detail about some of those considerations. It's not going to be a big state secret. But answer your specific question, Adrian has found a really nice niche in the bullpen. It's a spot that we think he's going to not only do as well he did last year, but take the next step. And he's excited about remaining in the bullpen and just being a dominant guy out of that spot.
You talk about the big star of the team, but how about the newcomers? Can you talk about a little about Tirso Ornelas? What chances do you see for him to be MLB player next year?
Yeah, I'm really excited about Tirso. It's a good name. This is a guy that has really been a homegrown Padre, continued to progress. It's a success story that we look to have the final success, and that's the ability to perform at the big leagues. He's a really hard worker, has really transformed himself into a really good player. He's gone out and played in winter ball and done exceptionally well. So he's definitely going to get opportunity to see what he can do.
Why not Tirso Ornelas, by the way? Ben, he played in 126 games, batted .297 with 23 homers and 89 RBI. There's some potential there for
I can
Tirso.
see the signs at Petco Park. Tier 1s for Tirso.
I love it. I'm all
during
about
the season.
it. Tier 1 so. Ornelas. Like Shildt just said, hard worker. He wants it. So we'll see. I'm excited to see him at spring training.
So what do you think of the comments that Shildt made about Xander Bogaerts that he a month ago said, you're going to be our shortstop. It's time to start working for shortstop. Contrasted with the comments we played from Jim Bowden earlier that the Padres have discussed the possibility of attaching a prospect, like maybe an Ethan Salas, to Xander Bogaerts to unload his salary to another team.
I think it's flimsy. I think it's flimsy at best. I paying for a mistake, paying for what is perceived to be a mistake so early in the process doesn't feel like smart business to me. It doesn't, especially trading away your number 1, number 2, 1A prospect just to get rid of, I don't know, half of that deal, right? Is that what we're talking, half? Now, if Boston comes to you and says, we really want Xander back, we'll pay the whole freight. But we're going to need Ethan Salas. Fine, you have to do it. You're free.
It's always the dilemma. All right, let's say Xander stays, has a really good season. Yeah. Does that make him easier or harder to trade?
Easier?
It puts his value up. You might not have to attach a prospect, but then you're like, but I don't want to lose him. He just had a great season. We need him, back with the San Diego Padres. There's always the other side of the coin when it comes to that. But I think, based on what Mike Shildt said, that they're pretty strongly expecting to have Xander Bogaerts as their starting shortstop this season, and they're not going to trade him, even if they could realize some salary savings. I just don't think that they're willing to give up one of their top true prospects just to have another team eat some salary.
Yep, I don't think so either. Like I said, I think it's pretty flimsy, but there's always smoke around things like that, and I caught a little last night in my DMs, and don't know how much truth there is to it, probably none, but, I want a big year out of Xander Bogaerts. That would be optimal for everybody. Get back to the Silver Slugger Xander that we saw in Boston. Play solid shortstop, if not unspectacular shortstop. You don't have to be making all the flashy plays. Make the routine.
And from what we've heard, Xander really wants to show
he does.
San Diego.
I've heard that as well. He really wants to
100%
show
100% Xander.
Correct.
It doesn't feel like he's been able to do it the last couple of years.
No, I like the dude personally. He always owns his mistakes. He always owns up to it, and I think there's something to be said for that. I think some people were bummed he wasn't at FanFest. I was a little bummed that he wasn't there too. When you start hearing smoke and rumors, you're like, well, he wasn't at FanFest. Does this mean anything? Chances are, no. He probably had a previous commitment. I mean, is Sam Levitt leaving? He wasn't at FanFest.
Is Sam Levitt leaving?
Is Sam Levitt leaving?
Where's Sam Levitt going?
I have no idea. But he wasn't at FanFest.
Oh, this is terrible.
Yeah. I know he was in Orlando. What's he doing there?
Are we trading him to offload some of your contract?
My contract's actually not that bad. I'm pretty affordable for what I provide, to be honest with you. But is Sammy going to be working for the Orlando Magic next year?
Paolo Banchero, pre- and post-game show.
The call of Paolo Banchero is too much for Sammy.
So we've got Paulie Reindel's Reindl Report in our final segment, including some big news for Woods' new NFL team. I see you're decked out in their team colors yet again.
I am, actually.
Today, like you absolutely always are. We'll have that coming up. First, though,
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466.
Tell you a little bit about our favorite place to play cards in San Diego. It is 7 Mile Casino. Part of the allure, of course, is the convenience factor. It is a quick drive down the 5 to Chula Vista. Just 7 minutes from downtown. You can be sitting down at one of their phenomenal tables and playing cards just minutes after you decide to hit the road.
I want to get back to 7 Mile Casino and play some California-style blackjack. Always have a great time. And the food there is fantastic. We need a show outing out there. Now, we were there last year for the opening day, and as difficult as it was one of the best days ever. All the Tier 1s flooded 7 Mile Casino. Hopefully many of you have been back. But go, if you haven't yet, make it a priority to get down there, check it out.
And one of the things that's great is even if you were there at 3 a.m., you can eat. Their 24/7 players menu is fantastic from Sammy's. I got the Asian favorites, including the best Kung Pao chicken in all of San Diego. And
So
it's not
good.
just me who says it. Everyone else who tries it always agrees. Like one of the best, if not the best version they've ever had. Just one of the great things you can experience at 7 Mile Casino. Full bar, TVs all over the place, great patio as well. Check it out today. It's 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown. Final segment of Ben and Woods on a Monday morning. Annie and Elston coming up at 10 o'clock. Craig's here. He was actually the one who let me know about the Lakers trade. I just got a text that said Luka in all caps, and I go, all right, this is odd. Why would he be texting me Luka in all caps? I was thinking that song from like the 80s, My Name is Luka. I'm going, what's going on? So I quickly went to Twitter. Suzanne Vega, yes. There's a point for you.
Thank you very much.
Very well done. And then I immediately went to Twitter and I saw, I see why he's texting me Luka in all caps.
Bananas.
Yeah.
Bananas.
Absolutely
Just
crazy
insanity.
news. Absolutely crazy news. We've been talking about that. Padres FanFest. We talked a little bit about the Aztecs, but there was a lot we did not get to over the course of the last 3.5 hours, which is why we've got our Rindle Report with more headlines coming up after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Guys, have been seeing way too many accidents involving motorcycles. Got a new one westbound King Freeway before the 15. It's in the center divide. Northbound side of the 805 before Mesa College. We have reports of a collision over to the right shoulder. Also, northbound side of the 15 past Friars Road, an accident over the right shoulder. Westbound 78 lanes remain blocked between Rancho Santa Fe and Sycamore for investigation of a fatal accident involving a motorcycle. Also, Los Postos and Rancho Santa Fe on-ramps to westbound 78 remain closed. Now, southbound side of the 15, before the 76, there is a collision in the center divide. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right. Good morning, my friends.
Morning, buddy.
We will start off in the National Football League. Ben teased it. Now, forgive me, I don't remember. Did we ever have this conversation on the air or was it off the air? That Woodsy's got a new NFL team.
I'm kicking it around.
I think we talked about it on the air last week.
I'm just kicking it around. I was at the gym and I saw a guy in a Raiders hat and he looked really cool. And it's a good color scheme for me. And, at my age, I'm trying to look as good as I can. They're also not a good team, so nobody could accuse me of being a front runner.
But isn't the worst accusation you can make about a fan is you're just a fan because you like the team colors?
Sure. That's not the worst, but
it's pretty bad.
I mean, I like the color. And again, they're close enough. They're close by where I could go watch them play. I like going to Vegas. I think the kids would love it. I love the history of the Raiders, obviously. They got great players in their history. Grew up watching the Raiders when I was a kid. John Madden and Lester Hayes and guys like nasty dudes. I love those guys. It's gone not great for them. Tim Brown, one of my favorite college football players of all time, was a Raider. So I think it's a natural fit for me. The silver and black looks good on me. I look good. You
love Amy Trask.
I love Amy Trask. Are you kidding? She wrote me a nicest message the other day. I just don't have it. I'm a man without a country, when it comes to the NFL.
Well, should you become a full-fledged Raiders fan, you might have a very exciting offense here coming together at least.
Guy just whipped my ass in the national championship game. I'd be happy to root for him.
So obviously last week we talked about Pete Carroll becoming the new head coach of the Raiders, coming out of retirement, I guess, taking a year off. And now Chip Kelly is returning to the NFL. He is leaving Ohio State, where he was the offensive coordinator. He will have the same position now under Pete Carroll with the Raiders. And I think Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly, that is a fascinating combination that I think could, with the right pieces, be a pretty exciting offense.
100%. KG said, prepare yourself for the absolute onslaught of smack talking you will receive. Oh, so like every other day in my life, I get called mentally ill, fat, this, that, the other. Okay, you think I care? And then somebody said, well, most people just wearing Dodger hats aren't even baseball fans. Oh, I just like the hat. Yeah, see, I won't be that kind of fan. They got my beloved Michael Mayer on the team. They're not they're not utilizing him properly, in my opinion. So I already done a little bit of research. I just think it's a natural fit for me. Don't you?
Yeah. I think the Chip Kelly move is interesting. Do you think Chip Kelly is the guy who's just decided, I'm fine being the number 2?
I'm just a good
I don't need to be the number one anymore.
Yes, I think
He can be
fine.
the number 1 in college, but if you want to be in the NFL...
No, he was, and it didn't go well at UCLA. So he's like, he left being a number 1 to be a number 2. And now he's going back to the NFL as a number 2.
Which is fine.
He's okay with it.
His last dance in the NFL, he was the 49ers head coach for 1 year back in 2016. Yeah. They went 2-14.
Nope.
Yeah, dude. I mean, sometimes the universe tells you what you are.
Rocky Long never wanted to be a number 1. He always wanted to be a number 2, and they made him be the number 1.
Yeah.
At
I
San
don't
Diego
want to be a
State.
number 1.
And he was good at it.
I
but
don't want to be a number. I want to be a number 2. I like being the 2 to your 1. I like that you drive. I hate driving on the radio. I would rather drive if we're driving somewhere. Let me drive behind the wheel.
Oh.
I do give you credit for our last drive
I got you
together.
home.
You did really well. You were
Thanks.
pedal to the metal 85 miles an hour the whole way.
Fast,
Now I go
but
105.
safely
It's
fast.
different. Yeah,
Safely
it's different.
fast.
Keeping It Real says you never want to be a number 2. I disagree. I disagree. Maybe not a poop number 2, but nothing wrong with silver, baby. Silver and black.
Number 2.
Who does number 2 work for? He works for Pete Carroll. And he's a damn good number 2. I'm excited about the future of my franchise now.
I think if you're a Raiders fan, that's at least some hope.
Yeah.
Do
New
you have
coach.
any trepidation working for Pete Carroll? Knowing his just
So, did you guys
general enthusiasm
Bro,
for everything.
Did you see Marshawn Lynch?
Yeah.
He did a podcast recently, and he goes, I used to watch this dude come in, and he'd get there at 6 o'clock in the morning, and he would leave at 1 o'clock. And he with the same, and he did like he imitated his walk. Hey, how you doing? Hey, good morning. Let's get it. He goes, he goes. I sat blood down, and I said, hey, what are you on? He goes, nothing. It's life. I'm live. And he goes, no. You're tweaking. What are you on? He goes, you just worked a 20-hour day. You're going to go home for 30 minutes. You're going to come back. And he walks in. Hey, what's up, guys? Let's get it. So the answer, Ben, is yes. He's one of those bosses where if you're leaving, you're like, oh, God, don't see me leave. Because you know he's going to be there.
That's why I'm worried about it if I work for Pete Carroll.
He would hate me. 10:05, I'm like, I got to go, dude. I got stuff to do.
All right,
There's no way.
We'll switch gears here back to some hoops. We talked about it, I think, in our 7 o'clock hour. We talked about the insane ending to the San Diego State game. The 11-point cruise to a nice victory turned into a 3-point lead in less than 2 seconds, 8 straight free throws. It was ridiculous. And we mentioned it was another good game for Magoon Gwath, who is just one of my favorite Aztec players, like maybe ever, to watch. He is so much fun when he is on his game, and he was on his game not just on Saturday but last Tuesday as well, and it got him his second straight Conference Freshman of the Week award that was just announced this morning. He averaged 19 points and 9 rebounds over those 2 games. 2 wins at home against San Jose, was it right? San Jose State?
Yep.
And then Wyoming.
And Wyoming. He might actually, at the moment, be the Aztecs' best 3-point shooter as well.
Yeah.
7-foot freshman shot blocker. Was the only guy that's made threes the last couple of games either. I thought that Magoon might win the actual Mountain West Player of the Week. He was one of the 2 candidates. They ended up giving it to Nelly Jr. Joseph of New Mexico, who had a good game, but they only played 1 game. Now, they beat Utah State. They came back and beat them by 19 in Logan. New Mexico's now definitely the team to beat, so they gave it to Nelly Jr. Joseph, who has a very cool name, but so does Magoon Gwath.
Yeah, nothing's better than that.
So it was one of the 2. They decided to give it to Jr. Joseph over Gwath.
The way he just blocks with such ease.
4 blocks.
It's unreal.
It was, and with no Jared Coleman-Jones for either of those 2 games, he had to step up. Miles Heide had to step up. DeMarshe Johnson had to play some. Farrell Compton had 3 blocks in the game against Wyoming as well. Hopefully, Jared Coleman-Jones will be back for the next game because they have the entire week off until Saturday when they play at Colorado State. Get him back healthy, but
altitude.
Magoon, altitude.
Oh, boy.
Colorado Fort Collins, Colorado. Yeah, they're all altitude-y.
Yep.
All right. And then finally, got one more story here. I saw this towards the end of last week. Are you guys familiar with Waymo?
Yeah.
That's the
Saw
self-driving
it.
vehicle, right?
It's like an Uber.
With
But no one driving.
Self-driving
Nobody at the
car.
wheel. We saw one. Where were we?
We saw them in Arizona. I saw them. I saw like people getting into them. Like when I was driving around LA last month, and I go, I'm not sure that I'm ready for that just quite yet. Well, they're on their way to San Diego. Waymo is on its way to San Diego, kind of. The actual service is not scheduled to take place yet in San Diego, but they are expanding. Waymo is expanding to San Diego and Las Vegas, along with like 8 or 9 other cities to learn the landscape and start to prepare to eventually be seen in San Diego driving around. So I don't know how it works. Obviously, a lot of AI, a lot of technology goes into it, but they're going to be, you will see self-driving Waymo cars here soon driving around San Diego. They said on the road again as Waymo prepares for broader scale. We're embarking on our largest road trip to date, visiting 10 plus cities in 2025. First up, Las Vegas and San Diego.
Be honest. You hail a ride on your app and you don't know who's coming, and a car pulls up with no driver, and the door opens. How do you feel about getting in?
Very nervous. Hi. Oh, there's no one here.
You just hop into the back. It's just you.
Now,
and you're in the back of an empty car, and it's just taking you somewhere.
It says right now, like if you're in Los Angeles and you get a Waymo, they are only operating on city streets, but in the coming weeks, they do plan to, like in the LA area, you will see Waymos being able to drive on the 10 and the 405 freeways.
I mean, you're not the sci-fi guy, but every great futuristic movie, all the cars drive themselves, and they go really fast, and they're like 3 inches from each other, and it works perfectly because take out the human element. I get it. I believe in it.
That guy's not texting and driving. That guy's not drunk and distracted.
They can respond in a microsecond as opposed to human reaction time. I get it. I totally get it.
I get it too.
Doesn't mean I'm not going to be absolutely unnerved the first time I get in a car that has no driver.
Curtis said, I rode in one in San Francisco. It has a screen that shows you what the car sees, and it can see stuff you can't even see. I felt very safe. No awkward Uber interaction. I'm an interactor, so I don't mind shooting the breeze with my Uber driver to make the trip go a little bit faster. Sitting back in an Uber quietly, that's a Ben move for
I would
sure.
love that.
Oh,
see, now I have no need to interact with anybody.
Yeah.
Sitting quietly by myself, that is definitely a Ben move.
You should take it to work. You don't have to drive anymore. Just taking a Waymo.
I believe me, part of my dream in life, if I could just sleep
car service
in all my commutes, God, that would be great.
Yeah, it would be a dream.
Don't have to worry about it at all.
All right. Well,
while they're talking about in the coming weeks they'll start transitioning into some more highway and freeway rides. So the company said that freeway rides will first be available for employees and then the general public. So imagine, all right, it's your turn to test it out. You're in 405
Do I have to?
4 o'clock.
405 and 405, you're just sitting there.
You're not moving.
How'd it go? It went great. Got a 3-hour nap and feel great, and I'm completely safe.
And I got to wherever I was going.
Yeah. I mean, okay, all right, I could do it. I could get in one.
I mean, I could probably, while it's weird.
I'll be nervous.
I'm not used to it. It would take me a while to get used to it. I could be sold on that being safer than just a random human driving.
Yeah.
You don't know if
I don't know if that guy's on meth or something. I got no idea. Zero. It takes the human element out of it, and the human element is usually pretty awful. So I think I could get down for it. Waymo. Somebody said there'll be Waymo accidents.
Waymo. Yeah. Let's ride.
Yeah, Waymo. Let's ride. Come on, y'all. Let's ride.
Mike Shildt for Waymo.
Oh, let's ride.
Let's ride.
Right. People don't like the let's ride because it didn't work for Russell Wilson and the Broncos, and I tend to agree.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Bronco country. Let's ride.
Bronco country. Let's ride. Yeah, I don't know.
I can't believe we've gone 3 hours and 50 minutes and we have not broken down the Pro Bowl games at all, Woods.
Oh, I forgot to watch it.
Your kids didn't make you watch the flag football competition?
I forgot, man. I was watching the Grammys.
NFC wins again.
They did.
Tug-o-war. It's not
How do you
win?
War. Like you win the most events?
So every event's worth like 3 points, and then there's the flag football games that's worth more points at the end. I don't know.
It's a bummer. I wanted to watch.
The NFC won fairly convincingly. They've won every Pro Bowl game so far. Which, of course, is what they changed the Pro Bowl to the Pro Bowl games. like 3 years ago because of injury concerns and the fact that the Pro Bowl was just a complete joke.
Yeah.
And we all knew it, and they refused to admit it until a few years ago. And now they do. And now this is also kind of a joke,
do,
too.
But this is also kind of a joke.
I mean,
just flip a coin. How about that?
They did sprints. They couldn't even get the Bosa brothers to run.
No, they did power walking. They power walked the whole thing. I totally forgot. I was watching the Grammys last night and meant to watch, and I didn't. I'm sorry.
I meant not to watch, and I still ended up seeing some of it because it was on Channel 10, and I was at work yesterday, so kind of was forced to at least catch a few minutes of it. They had some sort of competition where you had to take a face and put it on a thing and then run through a wall. I have no idea what they were doing.
It's bad.
Really,
it's bad.
It's very
much like the end of this show.
Is that where Sammy was? It was in Orlando. Was he at the Pro Bowl games?
There's no effing way.
Is that what he was doing this weekend?
Adam wanted some coverage there.
Hey, can you get down to Orlando? But it's FanFest. I'll do FanFest. You do the Pro Bowl. There's no chance. There's no way Sammy went on his own accord to go watch the Pro Bowl.
I hope not.
I'd like to get to the bottom of this Sammy situation. Made me a little nervous to see he was. But he's going to be out at spring training in a couple of weeks.
In like a week?
In a week. We'll have spring training Sammy every day. I love it. And then he'll be out there the whole time. So that's great.
Yeah, we'll have daily updates from Sam Levitt.
Spring training Sammy's my favorite.
Maybe next, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah.
Something
like that, yeah.
Pretty soon. Pitchers and catchers scheduled to report to Peoria, Arizona. We'll be out there right at the end of the month and have 3 live shows for you from the Peoria Sports Complex, which is always a highlight of the year for all of us.
We're there the 26th, 27th, and 28th. So if you are also there, let's make plans to say hello on the backfields as we all watch Tirso Ornelas try to win a starting left fielder job.
That is it's part of the plan.
Yes,
for
it
sure.
is.
Let's see. Other things we didn't get to. Well,
we're good.
we get
Let's
to
just
them tomorrow.
Yeah, we're
That's
good.
Fine. That's fine.
You
Rory won at Pebble.
Yeah, Rory won. Good for him.
Watched some of that yesterday. AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. I got a tweet. Did you see my tweet interaction?
No.
So Steve Sugimoto, our beloved Steve Sugimoto, tweeted something about Pebble looking nasty, and I said, "Hey, when you qualify for the AT&T, can I be your amateur partner? Because it's a Pro-Am." I said, "Thank you in advance." And he said, "Sure. Anything else I can do for you?" And then the actual AT&T account tweeted at both of us saying, "Hey, future Pro-Am partners." So I've got it locked in from AT&T that when Steve Sugimoto makes it to Pebble Beach, hopefully sooner rather than later, that I get to play with him in the Pebble Beach Pro-Am.
He gets to choose who it is?
I don't know that they totally get to choose.
Isn't it some sponsor?
Well, AT&T is the sponsor, and they've already tweeted at me. I feel like I have got it on
I don't think you have
record.
much of a leg to stand on.
I can
here.
show them their own tweets saying they have invited me to play with Steve Sugimoto at the Pro-Am at Pebble Beach.
I wish you will.
Thanks. All
Have
right,
a
that's
good
it for
rest of
us.
your day, everyone.
You too. Annie and Elston are coming up next. We will be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for executive producer and imaging director Paul Reindl. For Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Monday from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.